welcome to another episode of ArtCo Drone Solutions. We've got a great show today for you folks tonight. Welcome to the new and improved ArtCo Drone Solutions. I'm using vMix tonight, so hopefully everything is working out well. Got my computer all upgraded, so this is working really good. So, hey, the topic today is doing YouTube full time, and then we'll talk about some new, I got some stuff that I'm going to try out that I just got in the mail today or this week, and so waiting for a few people to come in on the panel. So let's start this off by doing on this day in history. All right, on this day in history, January 30th, 1661, Oliver Cromwell, Lord Protector of the Commonwealth of England, is ritually executed after having been dead for 2 years. Awesome. 1815, Byrne U.S. Library of Congress was reestablished with Thomas Jefferson's 6,500 volumes. Awesome. 1902, Britain and Japan signed a treaty after months of negotiation which commits each country to supporting an independent China and Korea, although it acknowledges Japan's special interest in Korea. 1933, President Paul von Hindenburg appoints Adolf Hitler as Reich Chancellor of Germany, which forms a government with Franz von Papen. 1939, Adolf Hitler threatens Jews during his speech to the German Reichstag, which is their version of parliament. 1948, Mahatma Gandhi assassinated by Hindu extremist Nathuram Godse. 1965, state funeral of Winston Churchill at St. Paul's Cathedral in London, then the world's largest ever state funeral. 1972, Bloody Sunday. 27 unarmed civilians are shot, 14 are killed by British Army during a civil rights march in Derry, Northern Ireland. This is the highest death toll from a single shooting incident during the Troubles. All right, let's check on film and history. 1931, City Lights, American silent romantic comedy directed by Charlie Chaplin, starring himself. Virginia Sherrill, premieres in the Los Angeles Theater. 1933, The Lone Ranger begins a 21-year on ABC Radio. 1950, Robert Montgomery Presents, dramatic anthology, premieres on NBC TV. 1956, KRMA TV Channel 6 in Denver, Colorado begins broadcasting, which is a PBS station. 1956, KTXS TV Channel 12, Sweetwater, Abilene, Texas, ABC begins broadcasting. 1961, Bobby Darin is the youngest performer to headline a TV special on NBC. 1961, KAET TV Channel 8 in Phoenix, Arizona, PBS begins broadcasting. 1978, Mutual Broadcasting Network begins airing Larry King Show on radio. Sadly, Larry King just passed away this week. All right, in music, we've got 1940, Benjamin Britten's Lessons Illuminations premieres in London. 1952, Paul Creston's Fourth Symphony premieres. 1956, Elvis Presley records his version of Blues Way Sue. And 1959, Paul Hindemith Symphony Pittsburgh premieres. 1961, I Fall to Pieces, single released by Patsy Cline, Billboard Song of the Year 1961. 1965, The Name Game by Shirley Ellis hits number 3. 1966, Dmitri Shostakovich completes his 11th string quartet. All right, so in sports. (1924) Gillis Grafström of Sweden wins men's figure skating gold medal at Chamonix Winter Olympics. First successfully defend his Summer Olympic title. 1920 at the Winter Games. 1924, Great Britain clinches inaugural Olympic curling gold medal with the 46-4 win over France at Chamonix. 1924, Norway's Thorleif Haug claims first of his 3 gold medals at Chamonix Winter Olympics, wins the 50K country in Norwegian sweep of medals, also 18K and Nordic combined champion. 1928, Australian Championship Women's Tennis in Sydney. Daphne Ockhurst wins her 3rd title, beats Esna Boyds 7-5, 6-2. Also in 1928, Australian Championship Men's Tennis, Frenchman Jean Barotra wins his only Australian title, beats Jack Cummings of Australia 6-4, 6-1, 4-6, 5-7, 6-3. 1933 Australian Championship Women's Tennis in Melbourne. Joan Hardigan Brathurst beats Coral McGuinness Buttsworth. Say that real fast. 6-4, 6-3. Also in 1933 Australian Championship Men's Tennis, Jack Crawford wins his 3rd straight title. Australian title, beats Keith Glenhill of the U.S. 2-6, 7-5, 6-3, 6-2. 1934, former Australian cricket spin bowler Bert Ironmonger ends Sheffield's Shield career age 51, 298 days as Victoria draws with New South Wales at the Sydney Cricket Grounds. And that is it on this day in history. So let's go back to who is on. All right, we've got a great group here. Let's say hello to everybody. All right, Steve Mack, Grant, Mr. Stay Drunk, Ken, place it here. Matt Cundiff, DumbTube, welcome. Jody, Drone Shots. And all right, so that sounds good. I'm going to be having some whiskey a little bit later. Maybe I'll have a whiskey and Coke as well. Sounds good. All right, so let's just get this going. I got to check everybody's decided to message me on okay, Brad Alston is traveling, and hopefully maybe Thaddeus McConnor might be watching. That'd be awesome. He's been a guest on my political show, Art's Place. So, just waiting for some of the panelists to arrive, and we could start talking about, okay, what do you need to do to do YouTube full time? So, yeah, basically, if you're going to do this full time, uh, basically, you'll have to have a channel that's been going for 2 or 3 years and you're building up an audience. And number one on that list is you gotta have the right equipment. You gotta have a solid PC that's beefy enough to, well, handle high high speed internet like I am here. I'm using vMix to where I could. It's similar to OBS and not StreamYard, but Stream. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like Wirecast, where you set up inputs and outputs, and that's how I'm able to get this background, set up my microphone. I've got this ArtCo drones in the picture. So, what do you need? You'll need to have, well, if you're going to make it your sole source of income, make sure you have something to fall back on. Like, maybe you've saved up enough money to where you could live off of that for a while, because it's going to take you quite a while to get this channel, your channel, going. I think once you get past more than 10K of subscribers, then you'll start to see some revenue. But yeah, you'll need to have okay. For example, you'll need to have a place to stay, to have your studio, to where you don't have to worry about oh my God, do I have enough money to well, pay the rent? It's not conducive when you're living in an apartment, but if you have your own place, you get really set up a nice studio. Now, I'm not doing too bad inside an apartment, but if you're retired, then you don't have to go to work. You got a stream of income. You've got your pension and Social Security that'll help you out. Then you could devote more time to your channel. The key is content. The more content you put out, people will start getting interested in your channel. Like, unfortunately for me, I work full time, and for the last 2.5 months, I've been working a ton of overtime so that I could get to a position to where pay off all my credit cards. Not that I have a whole bunch, but get into a place where I could, put out more content and give you guys a better show. And it's not just in drones. You could do. Greg Pittman, welcome to the show. It could be any topic. I mean, say you have a niche in your own on your own channel. I mean, I've seen some people they start a channel and boom, it seems like overnight they're up to a 1K, and they're off and running. And I think one of the things, it's personality, and it's how you present yourself. For example, I have a friend on Facebook. His daughter, she started her YouTube channel when she was in high school, and it was very much like that one show that used to be on ABC where this girl had her own live streaming show, and every day she was doing new stuff. Oh God, it'll come to me, but it's very similar to that. And her nickname is her user handle is Nikki Blazy, and I think the last time I looked, she was up to like 75K. I wouldn't be surprised if she's close to 100K. Where a couple years ago, she just broke 10K. She is on fire. She's got a bubbly personality, and she's got great followers, and that is the key to your show. Oh God, what is the name of that show? I'm trying to think of what that name of that show is. So I'm waiting for my usual panelists to jump on, and they're usually on by now. So I don't know what's going on. I know later on in the show, James from My PI Dream, he's probably eating waffles right now, and I promise I won't say the A word. Start off, set off all his appliances and radio or his audio stuff. So I hope everybody likes this new setup so far. It is looking really good. It's still a work in process. I'm going to probably change this background in the near future. So that is what I'm going to do. Now, okay, give you an example of doing YouTube full time. Oh, okay, Matt. Ken Herron, he started his show while he was still working at the radio station. And what caused him to go full time? Oh, Robbie, welcome to the show. Good to see you, my friend from Belgium. And so welcome. So unfortunately, the radio station he worked at was struggling to where just about everybody was let go, and Ken was let go. Eddie Nunez, good to see you. To where Ken decided to do YouTube full time, so he had all his equipment at the radio station, which was really cool because he had a really nice setup there, and he inherited a house from his grandmother, so he doesn't have to worry about a mortgage, which is cool. All he has to do is pay property taxes and utilities. So he's in a really good spot. But he doesn't have a pension, and that's the one thing about being a radio personality is I don't understand why those people didn't set up a 401k to where a little bit of their paycheck is going to build up their pension. Hey, Gene Fotz, welcome to the show. Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh boy, we're building up a nice crowd so far. Hope I'm not boring you guys, but yeah. So and Ken's got a really nice setup. He's got a really beefy machine. He uses Wirecast, which what we like to call wire crash. Um, and he's got a great personality. I mean, coming from a thank you, Steve. Here's my email and Eddie Nunez. Good to see you, Robbie. Yeah. Um, and that's it. I mean, you could be working a day job, and if you're not I was working 90 plus hours a week, and that just didn't leave me a whole lot of time to put out content other than doing this live stream. But now I'm getting to a place where the weather is starting. Oh boy, we got a beautiful sunset out there. Uh, so I'm going to start getting some more content out there and making this channel a better channel. And or to do live. Yeah, that's cool. And Steve, thank you. That's my Teespring. Go check out. That's another thing I'm gonna do is start updating my merchandise and getting better stuff out there for you guys. Okay, so oh, Bob Casey, good to see you, Bob. Great, great, great. Oh, and that's another thing. I'm going to be going to Florida in March. Pretty soon I'll be getting my plane ticket and go down there, and I'll have tons of content coming out from that. I'll be videotaping not only our flying, but all the guys that are going to be down, or gals, don't forget. And also, I have a fishing channel, Art's Place Fishing Channel, and I'll be doing some fishing while I'm down there. So I'm going to probably get down there on a Wednesday and leave either Sunday or Monday. So I'll bring a couple poles with me. I'll bring an ultralight setup and my regular setup. So I'll do some saltwater fishing and I'll do some freshwater fishing. So right now I checked my species list and I'm up to 37 different species. So if I go to Florida, I'll probably blow that up quite a bit. So yeah, and here is thank you, Steve. And here is my fishing channel. If you'd like to go check that out and subscribe to that, and you know, hopefully, I get that channel going. I'm over 300 subscribers on that, and hopefully I get that up to 1,000 in no time. So uh, I met Bob Casey at Spin Up, not last year, but the year before, and I met Bob Casey there and a bunch of folks down there. Ken Dono, Sean Oz. Sean's kind of my neighbor. He lives up in the mountains. Uh, Okay, Mitch, no problem. Oh, by the way, Mitch, I got your package. Thank you, and thanks for getting that drone all together for me. I hope you enjoyed the uh, the toffee. Uh, would like to know how long did you make it to the door with your package? Did it last longer than 5 minutes? All right, guys, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna experiment a little bit tonight. I'm gonna try the backwards music using vMix, and will hopefully this will work. So uh, let's go check this out. Alrighty, so here we go, guys. All right, guys. Did you guys catch that? Oh, and uh, Greg. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that. I hope you get that taken care of, and hopefully that'll work. Oh, dang it. You know what? I'll try it again, folks. I'll see if. Okay. Maybe what I did wrong. Oh, all right. How did that work out better? What I did different is I turned on all the audio for that, and if that didn't work, and Joe Blaylock, good to see you. Thank you, thank you. Oh well, I always say Matt Cundiff. Good to see you. All right, we got good crowd going. Oh yeah, it's starting to build up. Cool. No go. Oh, no go. Nothing. Darn. All right. Well, that's something I need to work out with with Lloyd. He's got vMix, so we'll do that. All right. So I want to talk about this new gadget that I got. I got this cool RC truck in the mail this week. I don't know if you could see it, but it is really cool. I played around with it a little bit today. It is called well, it's a JJRC Q70. So Ariel, good to see you, and Chris Wedgeworth, good to see you. So the neat thing about this is it's a morphing vehicle because you could flip a switch on the controller, and the controller's kind of hokey. It's this little toy thing, and what you do is you just press this button and it flattens out. Yes, you're right, Joe. It's a JJRCQ70. Yep. And so tomorrow I am going to do a video about this. I'll get my cameras all charged up, and we'll do a video, and hopefully I'll get that out tomorrow. Chris Hope, good to see you. Hey Chris, I sent you a link. If you would like to jump in, that would be awesome. Awesome. So I played around with this a little bit today in my my apartment, in the kitchen and the living room, and it's fast. I am surprised how fast it goes. So I'll be excited to see how it is outdoors. You know what I would like to do is, if I get maybe mount a camera on top here, get I got one of those sticky mounts that I could put on here, and maybe I could put a GoPro on here. That'd be kind of cool. What really would be cool is to put an FPV camera on it, and I could drive around with goggles on it. Sergio, good to see you. Good to see you. Great. So we got a good crowd going tonight. And, Oz by drone, sticky mount. Oh, yay. So that'd be kind of cool to put on there. If I could put like maybe, I don't know, Mitch, maybe you could give me an idea of maybe a small camera with a VTX to mount on top of there, and make it adjustable to where I could, move it up or down, and that'd be kind of cool. Joe Blaylock, Robert Glazer, welcome. So, had a pretty busy day today. Took my car down to Grease Monkey and had him put gender fluid in my tranny. So I hope that was funny for you. All right, Bob, I will do that. I will, Greg Pittman. Oop. Give you people some wrenches out there. Robert Glazer. Fly Zone. Okay, cool. Sergio, you need to be blue. All right. Okay, Sergio. Chris, you are now added. Cool. So I hope everybody out there is having a good week flying, or driving their RC vehicles, or flying their RC planes. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Greg, and I will send him a link if you would like to jump in. Do 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 do. Greg Kunert. Oh, that's not. Ah, dang it. Okay, so. There we go. I got him a link. Got a little message from my girlfriend. She is at the farm, at her farm, or at her grandparents' farm, and she's heading home. The weather here has been pretty nice today. It's been warm, partly cloudy, pretty calm winds. I've just been busy getting everything ready for today's show, playing around with this little gadget. So, Chris, if you would like to come on, that'd be awesome, awesome, awesome. So we may be in for a big snowstorm pretty quick here. Uh, I heard California just got slammed up in the mountains. They got something like 7 feet of snow. And if that snow comes here to Colorado, I know the mountains will get a big dumping. But depends on where the low pressure um, sets up. If it sets up in the southeast corner of the. Oh, Ken Heron! Thank you very much. Ken, thank you, thank you. Alrighty. We were just talking about you, or I was just talking about you. We were talking about doing YouTube for the full time, and I was using you as an example for how things just happen to work out for you. Now, for me, I'm getting close to retiring, so uh, then that way I'll have a lot of time to do this full time. So we'll see how that works out. So I'll keep you up to date on that. Uh, so on the upgrades I did on my PC is I put in a new motherboard. I got an Asus B450, and that's for an AMD A4 processor, which means a Ryzen processor. So I've got a 1700X in there. So it's 8 core, 16 threads, and I think it's something like 3.4 megahertz or gigahertz, something like that. And I've got 16 gigs of RAM, but for some reason it's only reading 8. So tomorrow morning I will be tearing this down and try to get that working. I've got an M.2 hard drive in it. It's a 500 gig hard drive. I do have Windows successfully cloned on here. Uh, Let me see what software that was that I used. Okay, downloads. I believe it is called an EPM. So that's what I used for cloning my hard drive. And what I'm going to do tomorrow is take my SSD drive out, and that's also 500 gigabytes, is I'm going to take that out. I've got an enclosure, and I'll reformat that drive and put it back in, and then that way I'll have 3 drives. I'll have 2 500 gigabyte drives and a 4 terabyte, I think it's a Seagate Barracuda in it. And that's where all my archive stuff goes on there. All my photos, my videos, they go, and audio. That all goes on there. That way I keep my C drive and other drives cleared up for programs. So, and I still got a ton of room on my M.2 drive. And also, I've got a 4 gig, I think it's a 240 Radeon video card, GPU card, and it works really good. And that's what I had on here originally. Originally, I had an older hard drive. You're overtired, Greg. Wah, wah. Alright, Greg, so enjoy the show. Hopefully, James will be here soon. God dang, I'm doing 45 minutes all by myself. Okay. So Sergio's got the 2 bought today's Seagate. Oh, cool. Cool. So today I ordered a couple more power supplies because I have a couple other PCs that have power supplies that went toes up. That one of them I'm going to update with a new motherboard. It'll be the old motherboard out of this, so that one will be up and flying. Hey, Johnny Drone Flyer, welcome to the show. Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you. So in about 15 minutes, we will do toffee trivia. So, all right. So I got to go see what kind of trivia I might do today. So, yeah, I found this computer in the trash. It's an old, I think it was, oh, not a Packard Bell. Oh, Compact. Yeah, it was an old Compact that had, you know, Bob, I don't know where I'm going to be staying. I will find a place somewhere around Melbourne or I don't know, Orlando, or somewhere in between. I don't know if anybody has any suggestions. So, oh, getting back. Anyway, I found this computer in the trash, and I pulled the hard drive out, and it was a 400 gigabyte hard drive. I'm like, oh, holy cow. So I've got that as an external, and I don't have it plugged into anything, so I may put that into one of these other machines. And plus, I've got an old Dell Inspiron, I think it's a 530, which I've upgraded all the way to an i5 processor, and boy, that was just not cutting it for me. So I bought this PC off of the police auction website, and it was originally a gaming PC, but it is pretty old. I think it was probably built around 2015, 2016. Oh yeah, that'd be awesome, Matt. I know around Melbourne. I mean, there are canals all over the place, and you're staying at Palm Bay. I'll check that out. And oh yeah, so what was oh anyway, that machine had a 500 gigabyte SSD drive, and it came with a 1 terabyte drive on it. So I may upgrade that. I've got another motherboard that's very similar to this, and what I may do down the road is I'll upgrade the CPU on this to a 2700X and put it in that other machine, and I'll just put like 8 gigabytes of RAM with oh, offshore fishing. I would like that too. Yeah. Uh, and I'll just put a like 256 gig M.2 on it, and just kind of have that as a secondary machine, backup. So that'd be kind of cool. That, cool, cool, cool. Oh, and another thing that I noticed after I upgraded this, my download speeds on my internet download speeds are phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, uh, yesterday I just did a speed test. I was getting over 700 down, and I was getting about 18 up, which is pretty much normal for me. 18 uh, upload speed, and that's pretty darn fast. Where a year ago, I think I had the 250 plan, and I was yeah, maybe getting up to 250. Jerry, good to see you. Drone obsessed. Jerry, good to see you. Uh, yeah, when I come down to Florida, I'll bring the Mavic Air 2, and oh man, I'd love to bring my FPV drones, but boy, we'll just read your message with the router, and I'm getting oh. Oh, okay. And I'm using uh, yeah, I'm he Sergio is getting 30 MPS with the router hood. Should bump up higher. Uh, do a cleanup on your clean your cookies, your history. Thank you, Greg. Hit that thumbs up button for me. Uh, Here, I use Avast, and it has PC Cleaner, and I do a regular maintenance on it, and I clean up my hard drive, and I clean out my registry, and my cookies and all of that. And boy, you won't believe how much junk is on your drive that slows you down. So, uh, once you do that, that should help bump your speed up. And a VAS isn't too expensive. It's very affordable. Yep. See, clean up your cookies. Yep. Cookie. Watch out for the Cookie Monster. Oh, all right. Hey, we finally got a panelist all the way from somewhere. I think it's New York. Let's welcome Chuck. Hey, welcome to the
Art, how you
show.
doing,
Good to
brother?
see you.
Good. How's the weather out
So, did I
west?
get your location right? You're in New York, right?
Yeah, but my headphones aren't working. Hang on a second.
Your headphones aren't working.
Yeah, you're gonna get some echoey stuff. Hold on.
All right.
See if it switches over. Say something. Testing. One,
All
two.
right, I'll say something.
There we go.
There.
There we go.
So, you're somewhere in New York, am I correct?
I'm in Syracuse. Yeah.
Syracuse. Yeah, yes, that is in New York. Okay, cool. So, how's the weather there in your neck of the woods?
It is 21 degrees and partly cloudy at the moment. Well,
Oh
partly
boy,
moonly, maybe.
partly moonly. Okay,
it's
cool.
it's coming up on 8 o'clock. It's pretty dark.
Ah, okay. Yeah, we're coming up on 6 o'clock here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, what's new with you? What have you been up to?
Oh, well, let's see. We did me and this guy Keith from the K Spot did a live stream this morning at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Oh,
2K
awesome.
drones. That was pretty fun.
Cool.
Talking about the helicopter crash over in Chile.
Ooh.
You probably heard about that one.
No, I haven't. Hey, I want to say hello to Lenski Vlog. She comes to us all the way from the Philippines. She is the mother of my godson, Daniel.
Wow.
Yeah. And her channel is really taking off. Uh, she started her channel about a year ago, and in a month she was already at 1K.
Oh,
And I'm
she's
like
doing
going, holy crap! It took me over a year to get to 1K,
so.
and she's already monetized. It took me a long time to get monetized here.
What was her secret? Just the right
Well,
audience,
if you
or
saw her, you'd say, she's very easy on the eyes, very
oh,
pretty.
that's something at least I don't have. Maybe you do, Art. I don't.
She does a lot of like beauty products and uh, oh, Ken enjoyed your Syracuse video.
Hey,
Cool.
thanks, Ken.
John Olson, good to see you. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, so then and then I oh, so well, I'm trying to get my channel bigger. It's going to take time. I've been trying to find a
Yep,
niche. I
yeah,
That seems to be a big part of it here on YouTube, right?
yeah.
We need to find a
Mm-hmm.
lot. When I started, all my videos were about me and my wife traveling, and it was personal. Well, I mean, it was stuff that I loved them, my wife loved them, but the world, maybe not so much.
Ah,
So it was, it's
you'd be surprised. Some people might be interested. It depends on where you went. You
well, they
know,
were
if you
decent
went to some,
spots.
huh?
I'm sorry, they were. Yeah, it does depend on where we go. We were in Colorado one time.
Oh,
That was a
Colorado.
quickie video. We were on Maui a bunch of times,
Oh, cool.
but um, Oregon, pretty stuff.
Uh
Maybe it's just me. Maybe I just
huh.
anyway. So we did a vlog last weekend. It was her birthday weekend. We went out to the Finger Lakes, which is
Oh,
um, just a little bit west of here, wine country.
Yep.
And I did my first vlog. It's like
Oh,
16
cool.
minutes and 16 seconds, which is the longest project I've ever done. But I premiered that this morning, so maybe
Awesome.
that's the thing. We'll give the vlog thing a go and see how.
Yep. Yeah, do a few of those a week. I mean, look at the grumpy vlogger. He's got his camera and his truck, and that's where he does his vlogs from. And he'll do about 8 to 10 minutes, and he'll do anywhere from 2 to 3 a week.
Oh, I don't know if How long are his vlogs? I need to check out his channel.
Yeah, his vlogs are about 8 minutes long.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, that
and
works.
plus he's a guest host on my political channel on Sundays, and then he's a guest host on Mel's channel, 400 AGL, and then he has his own weekly show on Mondays, which I'm a co-host on, along with Mel from 400 AGL.
Nice.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, I think for the longest time I have ADD. I'm pretty sure. My
Oh,
attention span is short. So
squirrel!
yeah, I say that all the time. Squirrel. And so, my videos should be very appealing to everybody, because if I tune them that way, it should be very hard to lose your interest in watching something I produce. And
Hmm.
one of the videos I did back in November was from the Hudson Valley, and
Oh,
it was like it's really moving. There
yeah.
wasn't any talk. It was like a music video. It was just boom, boom,
Oh,
boom,
cool.
boom, and you you don't turn it
So,
off, but
yeah. So
you know.
where'd you go in Colorado?
We were in Denver. I was there on business. My boss used to live
Oh,
in Colorado Springs,
oh,
so
cool.
he was supposed to go and he couldn't, and he offered up the business trip to me. So it was nice. He said, "Oh, the meeting's on Tuesday. How about you? You should have your wife go." He's like, well, "You guys could fly
Hmm.
out on Saturday. Spend the
Yeah,
weekend." And
yeah.
so I was like, "Heck
There you
yeah!"
go.
It's beautiful out your way, Art. I have
It
to get out there
is.
again. It's
Hmm.
it's just
Yep.
gorgeous and plenty of
Well,
good
we've
place to
got
fly.
a lot to see here. We've got the Nature and Science Museum. We've got the Art Museum here, and well, we've got the Mint, but that's been closed for a year now because of the COVID.
Got
So
lots of good craft beer.
yeah, that's right. That's right. A lot
Um,
of brew pubs here,
oh, you guys
and
kind of you in Oregon started it. You guys, was it
mhm.
Cerebral? Have you ever been to Cerebral Brewing in Denver?
No, I have. I've
Oh,
been to Old Chicago, and I think I've been to Breckenridge Brewery once,
okay. Yep,
long time
Breckenridge
ago.
is very well known. Yeah.
Yep.
Weldworks is up north.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got me introduced to sours. I remember I walked in there. Me and my wife went in there, and now we're doing beer talk instead of drone talk and YouTube talk. I'm sorry, but
There you go. Well, we
anyway, it's a great
do a
state.
lot of stuff here.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I got to get back out west again. I love it out there.
well, if you go to the Western Slope, we've got wine out near Grand Junction in the valley down there. So we've got quite a bit of wine country. A lot of peaches. Grow a lot of peaches out there. So, hmm so it is that time. Hopefully this will work this time. We are ready for. Okay. So here we go. Hopefully that worked out. So I gotta remember. Hold on.
Uh-oh, Art. Okay. Oh, he finds the center. Hey, Greg. How you
Yeah.
doing?
Alrighty. So I gotta figure out what I'm gonna talk about.
Well, you mentioned YouTube and making it
Uh-huh.
big on YouTube.
Okay.
Well, was that what the topic was tonight, Art? I'm in late as usual, late to the game. What's your toffee trivia?
Alrighty. Okay. Here's a good question. Um. All right. This is a two-parter question. When did YouTube start, and where is it located? Where did the location where it started? So, anybody in the chat, and you can use Google. All right. Anybody? Anybody?
I
When
have
did
no clue.
YouTube start?
I actually have no clue.
When did it start, and what city did it start in?
Greg and Michael have guesses. Oh, oh, I love place it here. It's beautiful. After all, he created the
Oh,
internet, right?
I need the date and the city that it was founded. Make it a little tougher for you guys. Keep going, guys. And whoever the first one is. All right, Stingray Ariel, you are the winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Nice.
Valentine's Day 2005, San Mateo, California. Stingray Ariel, just email me your address and I will send that out to you. And Steve has, well, my email is COLOKID 1960 at Gmail. There it is. Right there. There is my email. All right. And also, if you want to send me something like candy, and I do some rock tumbling. So if you have some interesting rocks you want to send me, you could send them to this address. So, or if you have drones you don't want, or maybe an RC vehicle you want me to do a review on, send that to me and I will do a video about that. Yeah, congratulations, Stingray Ariel. Speaking of Ariel, my dad had a classmate in high school whose name was Ariel Wigglehoffer.
Ariel Wigglehoffer.
Wigglehoffer, yep.
Did he get? Did pardon me while I screw around my camera? Did did he get beat up a lot in like grade school?
No, that was a girl's name. You know, like Ariel and
Oh,
one
like
of
the Little
those
Mermaid.
yeah, Ariel Wigglehoffer. And
I thought it
this
was a
is true.
dude. I'm sorry. I was messing with my camera. See, there we go with the squirrel thing.
Squirrel. Um, well, and this was back in the day when they used to do uh, wedding announcements in the paper,
Yep.
and it said Ariel Wigglehoffer to marry a normal man, and Normal is a town in Illinois, just outside of Aurora, Illinois.
I cannot get this right. Normal man.
Yeah,
I think my wife would say that's an oxymoron, by the way.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, John Olson, you want to see tumbled rocks? I've got one right here. This is what's called a pudding stone. And these are found in Michigan, where it's a conglomeration of many different types of materials like chert and quartz. That because Michigan was it was during the Ice Age, and all that material got compressed by the glaciers, and where you're at near the Finger Lakes, that's how the Finger Lakes were formed.
Yep. Exactly.
Hmm.
Got carved right out. In fact, Seneca Lake is what, 400 and some odd feet deep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
They
Yep.
do. Lockheed Martin does sonar testing. They have a platform out in the middle of that lake to test
Wow.
sonar because the lake is so deep. And just down the road from where they're set up in Syracuse, just outside Liverpool. And a lot of military tests out there. Oh, was it Lockheed or oh, anyway, yeah, that's
Was it Grumman or Raytheon?
Raytheon. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep,
Hmm.
that's it. Yeah. So I wonder what those guys do when they come off the platform. Do they go hit the wineries? What do they do?
Yeah.
Oh, Normal's outside of Bloomington, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Heard of it, never been.
Lake Baikal in Russia is the deepest freshwater lake in the world. Let me look that up. I think it's over 2,000 feet deep. Lake.
Is that the lake that the Russians were worried about when they had the Chernobyl accident? That lake was going to
No,
become
it's
contaminated?
way further east. The
Okay.
depth is 5,300 feet deep.
Jeez.
That is the deepest. You're right, John. Long Island was formed by the Ice Age, yep. And if you go to Central Park or over there by the Washington Bridge, there are these big, massive rock outcroppings. They have these like scars in the rock, and that's from where the glacier went receded, just rubbed across that hard granite and made these grooves in the rock, which is
It's amazing,
cool.
isn't it? Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, the Hudson Valley is all that area. Well, the whole
Yep.
state, this whole area, Pennsylvania, New York, was
Hmm.
all ground out by moving
Yep.
ice.
Ohio and Wisconsin and
Yeah.
Minnesota. Yep.
Minnesota. Yeah.
Minnesota.
You guys get it from the plates getting pushed around though, right? The plates get pushed up and
Yeah. Hmm.
get the Rockies.
We are the new Appalachian Mountains. The Appalachian Mountains are the old Rocky Mountains. Hmm.
Pretty
Yep.
cool. Earth is ever changing.
Yep. And place it here. Yeah, you do have a lot of hot spring. Well, that's why it's called Hot Springs, Arkansas. We've got some hot springs here in Colorado, up by Steamboat Springs and Glenwood Springs. Yeah. We have
Nice.
some. Well, and then there's Colorado Springs. There's some spring water, but I don't think that's heated water there. But if you ever get a chance when you're back to Colorado, check out the sand dunes, and that is the headwaters of the Arkansas River, where the river will come in at one end of the park and disappear, and then at the other end of the park, it comes back up and flows east because, well, it's sand and all that water that comes in gets absorbed into the sand, and it's like an aquifer underneath, and then it comes up and ends up in the Arkansas River.
Wow. Um, just north of you, north of Colorado in Nebraska, there's a
Yeah.
place called Scotts Bluff.
Mm-hmm.
The bluffs. I don't even know how
Yeah.
are they formed.
Oh, well, some of those were volcanic that weathered away from water and snow and wind. Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to fly there. That was another business trip. We had a school job up there that the unit ventilators were struggling to work right. They were brand new. I I had some time in the afternoon. I drove out to the bluffs to fly and was sad to learn that it was a national park.
Yeah.
So I went out. Art, I went out to the limit, out just outside the park. I'm like, well, wait a second. This is a few years ago. I'm like, if I fly outside the limits of the park and take off, I think I can fly in a little bit and get some footage. It's a pretty
Well,
big
you
anyway.
can do that.
Yeah, and there was nobody around either. But it was super windy, and all I had on me was
Yeah.
I had a little
You don't
Mavic
wanna
Air.
take
Well, I
Yeah.
had a noisy small Mavic Air.
Oh yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
those things? And some
Yeah.
guys are still flying
Yeah,
them,
I've
I'm
got
sure.
one in the bottom of Lake Harbor here.
Got some great underwater footage with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Only I wasn't flying it. It was Sean Oz was flying it. We were comparing the Mavic Air to the Mavic Air 2.
Uh-huh.
And what was it? I was having some kind of issue with it. And I showed the controller to him. He's playing around with it. Well, the altitude and distance are reversed. So he thought the distance was the altitude, and he landed my drone in the lake.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But
Yeah.
he was such a stand-up guy. He gave me his Autel Evo.
How do you like the
which is
Evo?
A huge upgrade from that.
Yeah, heard good things. I've
And
never
then,
flown one.
About a month later, Ken Dono gave me a Mavic Air 2.
Now that is a nice little aircraft.
That is nice.
Yeah, my buddy Keith just grabbed one of those. He was showing it off this morning, for that matter, with the smart controller. That is
Yeah, and it's got AccuSync on it, which is
AccuSync
nice.
2,
And now
yep.
with the Evo, it has its own. It's kind of got its own version of AccuSync, which is nice.
Yeah, that
And
is
the other,
4 miles of range, I think.
Yeah,
4 or 5.
and the other cool thing about it is it's got a built-in LED screen on it.
Yeah, yep.
Where mine, I still have to use the phone. But the Mavic Air 2, you can get a smart controller will work on it.
Yeah, I actually picked up the smart controller when it first came out a couple years ago for the Mavic 2s. And that's money well spent. That's a great controller. The screen's
Yeah, and it's nice
good
and
size.
bright too.
Oh yeah, 1,000 nits. It's, well, let's say 900. Yeah, it's plenty bright enough.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
Suffolk County.
speaking of Philippines, all the way from Lipa's City, Philippines. Let's welcome James Tanner, My PI Dream. Welcome,
Hey,
welcome.
Hey,
morning,
James.
guys. Hey, morning, Chuck.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I was a little bit, thinking I was a little bit intimidated about coming on the program this morning. I just opened up and got in, and I heard Chuck using big words like oxymoron and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Oh, no. Oh, no. You're funny.
Now, I've heard Ness often used the word moron with me around the house, but when you said
I get that a
oxymoron.
lot. I get that a lot myself, too,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's good. It's good to see you. Hey, don't leave because I really got nothing this week. But I'm in a time warp going on right here. I thought your show started at 8 a.m. my time because I thought we were like 13 hours off from East Coast time. But I think I'm an hour off from you because I looked at the time and it says you're like about 80 minutes or something like that into your broadcast. And I wanted to get on right at the very beginning of your show this morning, so I'm way off. I gotta change. I gotta look at my clocks around here.
Get with the program, James.
I was pretty late myself, too. Don't feel bad.
Okay.
I actually... I said, we had burgers, like early dinner. I looked at my wife and said, I think I need a nap. Next thing I know, I wake up, and I look and I see Art's message, and I'm like, oh, I'm late again, and sleepy dust out of my eyes, and like fix my hair, and it's like Jane Jetson put on the makeup mask or the morning mask thing that she had on the Jetsons and all that.
Those I think I need a nap. They're dangerous because I do that all the time around here, and next thing I know, it's like three hours down the road, and I'm like,
That's
what
what it was.
happened to my...
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I've been kind of not doing too much on our vlog here lately because it's just been minimal things that I need to do around the house, maintenance stuff like that. Like yesterday. Yesterday was my day of doing maintenance of all the water filters. We have so many water filters. We have we're not so lucky. We don't have really nice, clean city water like you guys have over there. Everything we have here is on our well, so I have to filter everything. I got filters that go into our cistern. I got filters that come inside our house. I have filters, of course, in the refrigerator for the ice that we make for ice in the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
We got filters everywhere. So yesterday was my changing filters day, and they were bad. They were really bad. I should show you some pictures. I didn't take a picture of how dirty these things were. Especially my cistern. My cistern was really bad, and that's what I use for my irrigation for the yard. Is I use the cistern, and you can't clog up the heads. The pop-up sprinklers and stuff like that.
I was going to ask you about the cistern. So like, my wife and I used to go to the Caribbean a lot, St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix. And they have very limited resources for water, so they're big on cisterns. But for like, not for, you can't drink it though. But so, is it similar for you guys? I mean, you can.
Well, you can. It depends on how you maintain your cistern. Our cistern, the water that goes into our cistern comes from two different places. I designed that when I designed the house. We have water. We have gutters, and that's where most people get their water from. They'll take their gutter runoff and they'll run that in a pipe into the cistern. So it's free water that they have inside there, and that's what we do. We have the water from our gutters that go inside there. But, sometimes, even though you think of the Philippines as, oh, it's a tropical paradise, and it really is a tropical paradise, but we don't have rain. We have a rainy season, and we have a really dry season.
Yes.
But the ground is so fertile from the millions and millions of years of all this vegetation breaking down, and it's organic. Even in the dry seasons, everything stays nice and green. So it's green 365 days a year. But we have 3 to 4 months where we've gone probably in 3 months and only had maybe 4 days of rain in three months, something like that. So we use the cistern religiously here.
Okay.
And during the time when it's dry like that, and we don't have water going into the gutter that feeds the cistern, what I did was I tap off the subdivision water. The subdivision is what we have the water that comes into our house. and I have a float valve at the bottom, maybe 1.5 meter off the floor of my cistern. And when the water gets below that, it tops it back off using subdivision water, because all my irrigation pop-ups come from the cistern. So I have to maintain all the time. I have to maintain water inside there. But I also did another kind of neat thing. I also put another valve. It's a hybrid system. In the event, for some reason, even if my cistern ran totally dry, I have a valve that all I do is turn it into the on position, and it will bring the water in from the subdivision. It will feed the pump that does the irrigation around here. So I've got all bases covered when it comes to that.
I love the way you think, James. That's really cool. But yeah, like when I was in the Caribbean, I remember they all had the same rules. They said when it's yellow, as far as using the bathroom is concerned, if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down.
Yeah.
Save water.
Well, they do that here too. Yeah, they do that here.
Right. It sounds like the same rules apply because you have to conserve. Here in upstate New York, we don't care. Well, I shouldn't say that we care, but I mean, the Great Lakes and everything, we have a vast supply of water, so we're not careful about it like we should be. Shame on us.
Well, you asked the question. You asked the question about drinking water, potable water.
Yep.
Well, you can make your cistern water potable. It's all a matter of if you want to become your own water treatment facility. You know, like we do. Like actually, I don't know. A lot of people probably don't realize this, and it sounds gross and everything like that. But in all developed countries, you know that water that you flush down your toilet and all that stuff that goes into the water sewer system, it goes into a water treatment facility, a plant. All that black water and brown water and yellow water and you know they have devices inside that they skim that, it cleans it, it filters it, and the water you receive back in your tap that you drink is that water that you flushed from your lavatory inside your bathroom. But it's all treated. And you can actually, although we have septic tanks here, we don't have city water and we don't have a city sewer that takes away our waste. We have septic tanks. For the cistern, if you wanted to, you could treat your cistern just like a water treatment facility in the developed country. If you wanted to treat it with pH,
chlorine and whatever.
Chlorine, put it right, because the chlorine level for drinking water is much like. I've become the subject matter expert for swimming pools here since we got our swimming pool built. I don't know if you watched any of our episodes, you've been following what I've been talking with Art about our swimming pool. We finished our swimming pool about a little less than 2 months ago, maybe 6 weeks ago. And I took the lesson from the swimming pool company that built our swimming pool, and I've been purging myself with all these online things about what's the best way to have clean water inside your swimming pool and everything like that. But the chlorine level that you put in your swimming pool is much higher in parts per million than you would for your drinking water that you have. But you could treat your cistern, if you wanted to make it potable, you could actually treat it with the chlorine and something to make sure that your pH balance is proper inside there. You could do all these things and basically have your own water treatment center and make that water potable inside your... Yeah, but you could do that. And what a lot of people do, even here in the Philippines and in the U.S., when you're like, say you're off the grid, you know, and you have a well and you have solar panels that you can have a pump to pull your water up inside. Right. You can also use that if you want to use it for non-potable water inside your house. You can have a cistern that's a reserve that you get from a well. It feeds your cistern. And then you could use it for your gray water, anything that's like a gray water type of system, to wash your dishes. Feeds your toilet tank, your toilet bowl, your lavatory tank. You could do that for showers like that. So you don't have to be nearly as careful as consumables for the potable. So you could do that too. But we haven't done that. I kind of wish I would have thought about that as a backup design. If I were to do it all over again, I would have had another pipe that comes from my cistern that has like a Y valve where I can make a decision. Do I want subdivision water?
Yeah.
Because you never know. You got to realize, again, we're dependent here on the subdivision. And our subdivision has well water. It's pumped up to a storage. You know those high elevation storage tanks?
Like a tower?
Like the tower, like you see in the older towns in the U.S.
Ooh, I love flying water towers on a side note.
Same here.
And then that water is gravity fed from there down to the houses right here. But we have had we've been here for 4 years, and 2 times in 4 years. It's not that often that it happens, where somebody forgot to maintain the water level. It was supposed to be monitored every single day, and it was down to the level where we had no water. So if we had the option from the cistern, we could have diverted the water from the cistern over to the non-potable water inside the house. But I didn't think about that. But it's not that big of a deal. But if I had to do it all over again, I'd cover all bases and do that.
Welcome to Drones and Cistern Night here at
Drones and
ArtCo
cisterns
Drone
and
Solutions.
whoever thought drones and water would mix?
Well,
when I float, Art knows, and I almost had a couple of situations with my drone over Taal Lake where I was within seconds of dumping it into the lake over there. I did a couple of videos on that one where I got the warning that it was going down. I don't know if you caught any of the discussion that I've been on the Art Show before. But
I gotta start getting with it here.
Yeah. Well, I actually had it where I extended. I'll try to make this as short as possible. I apologize because I kind of go on long-winded on some of my stories.
Yeah.
James.
Carry on.
I'll give you Chuck's just for Chuck's benefit, because I know Art's heard this before. But and I'll do the Reader's Digest condensed version. I was flying.
Please do that.
I was flying one to the volcano. I was on the edge of the lake. We have a volcano in the center of Taal Lake here in the Philippines, and I had a real good tailwind flying out to the volcano.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I wanted to go inside, and then I got the alert warning that said you must return because you only have enough battery to get back. And
without a headwind.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, I extended it. I said, I'm comfortable. I know my drone. I know what its capabilities. So I kept flying. I bypassed the warning, the alert.
I'm laughing. I'm crying at the same time.
So I continue because I wanted to get that money shot. We all want that money shot.
Yeah. So the risk. Yeah, take the risk to get the reward, man.
Yep. Absolutely. So that's what I did. Yeah. So I continued flying. I got the money shot, and I started coming back, and I noticed that my speed was about half the amount coming back as I had going over there. Because I had a really big tailwind going over there. I would say maybe 12 or 50 mile an hour tailwind hitting me on the back. It was a windy day. And nice. I'm coming back, and I'm not even halfway back. And the drone says landing. It was descending. It was landing right in the middle of the lake. And it's a big stretch. From the edge of the lake to the edge of the land formation of the volcano, it's probably, I'm going to say 6 kilometers. So I'm flying back, and I still got about 3 clicks to come back, and it's good. You're familiar. I heard you talking. I kept hearing you talk about the DJI products inside there, the Mavic 2s and stuff like that. So I know you're familiar with DJI.
That's all I fly, yeah.
Yeah. So at the very beginning, when it starts doing the descent, I had no control. It was doing it on its own. It wouldn't. I was fighting the stick, and nothing was happening. So it's I'm trying to pull back on the stick so it's coming towards me, or actually push forward on the stick because it's in the opposite direction, coming towards me.
Right.
And I'm trying to do the upward, and it's coming towards me, but it's not doing the upward. It's slowly descending on its own. And it doesn't know what landmass is underneath it.
No, it doesn't care either.
It didn't care. So I kept fighting it, and then finally, for some reason, and I've noticed this is a characteristic that I don't know if it's a safety feature that's built in or what. Once you start getting real close to the end of your battery life, and it gets so close to the bottom, you regain some of your control, and it allowed me to start doing some leveling off. And I just flew the stick as far forward as possible, trying to get it back to me as quick as possible. And I landed with less. It said 1 minute, but I know I've been flying on 1 minute. That it said it had 1 minute of battery life left, and I dropped it right there in front of us, and I recovered. Now I said, but that happened. That actually happened twice to me. That happened, and it, both times were at Taal volcano and Taal Lake. So. That was. Did I make it short enough? I think.
Yeah, could I have made a good story? I didn't even notice how long the story was because I was like, I hope he made it back. I hope he made it back. I hope he,
Yeah.
but it didn't
So-
sound good. But yeah,
Well, I'm still running. I've only owned one drone, and it's the DJI Phantom 4 Pro Plus, and it has that controller, like the smart controller. And I heard you saying earlier that that's probably one of your best investments on. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
The smart controller that DJI has, the visibility, the vividness, the cutting through the glare of the sun on the outside, and it works. And I am totally sold. My next DJI product will also be with the smart controller.
it's fun.
I don't know.
It's fun with
What is
these.
that?
Yeah,
Is
I just
that-
lost. I just lost the light. They're Moverio, Epson Moverios. The
Is
AR
that like
glasses.
FPV?
No,
or
no, they're not FPV. I can't do FPV. I get too claustrophobic. But these are these you can see through them, but then it gives you a heads-up display of the smart controller's display that you can plug in via USB-C.
something? And that works with the DJI?
Yeah, it'll work with the smart. They'll work with the smart controller. The BT35Es will work with the smart controller. These are 300s, but I have there's an HDMI box for the 35Es that's compatible.
Oh.
So it's nice. You can see the screen in front of you, like a heads-up display, but then you can look through the screen and you can see your drone, visual line of sight. So they're
Oh,
kinda
I wish
fun.
you got to quit telling me about these toys. You know?
They're
You know, for
old.
you-
There's a new thing coming out.
Well, you know,
MP40s.
you're lucky. You're lucky in the U.S. Because you can order anything. Most of the time, it's affordable. It gets shipped to you. You can get it like 2, 3, 4 days. It's like there, boom, you have it. For us over here, you have to make sure that they'll ship it to. Because I go on Amazon. I'm constantly ordering on Amazon, and sometimes stuff can be delivered here. Sometimes it can't be delivered here because of certain restrictions. Sometimes it can be delivered here, but with an exorbitant add-on cost for customs fees. And so we've talked about this before in ArtCo, doing comparisons and pricing between what we can order on our equivalent to Amazon.com. We have a company here called Lazada, and it's the closest thing to Amazon that you can get out here, but
Yeah.
they're not even close to Amazon as far as customer service and their search mechanisms when you go on site. I told Art before, you go, what was it?
I see the comment too. Art, you are so more patient than me, man. You are. I am telling
That
you.
is
Guys
Bill
got it
from
together.
Coast to Coast Drones.
Yeah,
by the
hey
way.
Bill.
He's
by
got
the way.
a good, really good channel.
Yeah.
Bill's Facebook channel his Facebook group is really solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Robbie RC Belgium, all the way from Brussels. And earlier in the show, my godson's mother was in the chat. That's Linsky. She's from your neck of the woods, James. She's down there, I think, in Santa Rosa, I think.
Oh, Santa Rosa, that's just north of us. That's probably about 30 minutes north. That's one of my favorite places to go shopping. Now, I got a question for Robbie from Belgium. What part of Belgium is Robbie from, by the way? Do you know? What is he actually in the city of like around Brussels, or where is he from in Belgium?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Oh, Bill got his first COVID shot today.
Yeah, he did, that lucky son of a gun. Great. That's great news.
Yeah,
Maybe
we're
we all
about
get it
to
soon.
do 65 and up here in Colorado, so I'm probably a week after that.
Well, it's good. It's good to hear that you guys are getting opportunities. Northeast Belgium. So I don't, maybe Robbie knows the area. I actually lived 4 years. I lived 4 years in Belgium. I lived on the southwest side of the ring that goes around Brussels. I lived in a Flemish community called St. Peter's Loo. And I was there for 4 years.
Well, Robbie's 1 hour from Brussels.
Well, he can't be too far from me because Brussels is up probably right near the area where he was up there. That's a good area because it's really easy to get up into the Netherlands and then not too far if you want to go down to France. If you want to, we used to do weekend drives down into Paris.
I gotta
The
get out to
company
Europe.
that I work for, we used to have a European headquarters in Strasbourg.
Yeah.
So that's probably no longer part of the company now. Now they got sold.
Mm. Hey, Art, I see you starting.
Yeah,
I think
starting.
am I an
Starting.
influence? Am I
This is
becoming
like
an
a
influence
couple
on you?
months.
What was good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told my sister I was gonna let it grow long and braid it.
Like
She
ZZ.
said, "You
Well,
better not. I'll cut it off."
when you said braid, for a second I thought you were thinking ZZ Top, but then you said braid, so then I was like, yeah, it's not ZZ Top beard. But you need a ZZ Top beard to braid it, don't you? Well, maybe not. More.
Or I
Get down
could
to,
be,
get
I
down to about
could
here.
get that like Prussian look and have it go out.
Yes.
Kind of look like
Strong.
Otto von Bismarck.
Strong like ox.
Look.
Well, people keep making comments to me about I need a haircut. They keep telling me I need to get a haircut. I'm kind of like this is the way I fight against COVID. Is I'm not getting a haircut.
Oh.
So yeah, until
Love it.
when COVID's gone, I'll go get a haircut. But while COVID's here, I'm gonna let it grow, and that's my excuse. But really, I want to do the ponytail
Oh,
thing
yeah.
again. When I was a wannabe musician out in South Korea, and I was also a DoD contractor out there for forever it seemed like. We had a weekend band that we played at all the military installations and USO and local events. So I let the hair grow out. My ponytail was actually longer than my wife's when we were playing out there. So, but I'm in that awkward phase. Anybody who's ever let their hair grow out, and when
I've
it
done that back in my stand-up comedy days.
there is a horrible period between where you're at right there, and to get to the point where you can get all the hair inside the bundle in the back where it doesn't fly all over the place. And I'm in that really
You're in
horrible.
betweener.
Oh yeah, I'm in that horrible stage right now where I can get a small ponytail, but all the hair from the front that hasn't gone long enough to get inside that tie, it just flies all over the place. And we're in a windy season right now, and it's just horrible outside.
By the way, James, Bill from Coast to Coast Drones, he's married to a Filipina.
Okay.
Yeah,
you know where
he
his?
lives in Everett, Washington.
Where's his? Do you know what part of the Philippines his wife is from?
You know what? I'm not sure.
Well, maybe he'll.
Bill, if you wanna,
He says
tell us.
he said kamusta ka, and we say back mabuti.
kamusta?
Kamusta ka.
I really got to get over to Europe. I got to get over to Europe. You guys have been there. I haven't
Yes.
been. Now I can't get over there.
Oh! I just saw something. As a matter of fact, Ness sent me a link this morning. Italy. I love Italy. Oh my God! I have my heritage is from Italy. My grandfather's family is from Rome, and she just sent me a link. There is a town, and I don't know where it is. I haven't had a chance to read or watch the video and the information on it. There's a town in Italy where they got tons of these old houses, and it's the typical where you see a street and it's the row houses with all the houses lined up side by side and all. But they're selling dozens of these houses for $10,000 each. And
Oh, boy.
I think it's a lot easier for a foreigner to actually own property in Italy than it is here, like in the Philippines, because a foreigner can't own the land in the Philippines. And I've always wanted to go back to the what's called the fatherland. I don't know if you can say that. Being on like
Bill
a tri.
says Malate.
Malate. My wife would know where that's. I don't know where Malate is.
Yeah, I guess it's near Manila.
If it's near, oh, okay, all right. Well, it's not too far
Yeah.
from here then. That's all right. if his wife or he's in there, they should stop by here then, because we're not that far, maybe a little over an hour and a half. Well, anyway, they getting back to the story, in Italy they have this town, and the mayor of the town, to try to bring life back into town, because it's like a failed town. It's like one of those places in up in Detroit way back in the day when all the communities just started dying out. Well, they have a town and it's like that. So they decided to give a discount, and they're selling all these houses inside the town for $10,000 each. And they need renovations. Every one of them needs renovations, but they're inhabitable. They just need some TLC. And I told Ness, I said, we should look into that for $10,000 investment. We see what it takes to actually have maybe a vacation property inside Italy. Wouldn't something like that be awesome?
I just want to get there. My wife wants to go to Tuscany, and get the wine.
Well,
I
Italy
just
is
want to go to the Ferrari plant.
Italy. Oh yeah, Italy is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. I used to go on vacations there. I lived in 2 different places in Europe. I lived in Bremerhaven, Germany, way up in the north, northern part of Germany, and I lived in just outside of Brussels in St. Petersburg. But the nice thing is we made an effort every month, to do a mini vacation, even if it wasn't for 2 or 3 days, every month, and we would go. I mean, everywhere. There's so many places, especially if you're around the Brussels area. You take the tunnel that they call the channel over there, or the ferry.
Yep.
Go over to England. We're right close to the Netherlands or Holland. We could drive. That's a day trip. It's a day trip going down to Paris. Germany. When we were in Germany, it was nice. Well, I was there in Germany before the wall fell, so you got to see what was going on. Then I was there when the wall fell, when the wall came down, and they opened up
Cool.
East and West Germany kind of got connected there. Up in Denmark.
Well, James, where you lived, you were pretty close to what was then called the Western Front during World War I. You could have gone to Ypres and Verdun and those areas. Yeah.
Well, we tried to do, and we made
Sudan.
friends. We made lots of friends over there. When Czechoslovakia broke up and it became Czech Republic, we made some friends with a mayor over there, and his wife was the local physician for the small town that they were in. I don't even remember how we came about this friendship over there, but they invited us over there, and we stayed at their home, and that's where the original Budweiser comes from. Did you know that? The original Budweiser comes from Czechoslovakia. That's where the recipe came from. And they have...
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, I forgot what the name... the name of the town sounds something like Budweiser, Bud something another, and Budvar or something another. And we went to the town. We went to the original town and tasted the original recipe, and we got the souvenir Budweiser type thing. But they sold the recipe and all the rights. They sold that to Anheuser-Busch. So that's how Anheuser-Busch got all of that. But yeah, it's...
Coors beer is from Germany. Adolf Coors, he immigrated from Germany to Golden, Colorado, which is not far from where I live.
Yeah. I love German beers. But getting back to visiting, going to Europe, there's so many places, and it's so, well, if it wasn't for a pandemic, it's so easy. It's so easy to travel there. I was at the time I was over there when they had just pretty much stopped requiring you to have a passport to cross the borders. As a matter of fact, I had to fight at the border station sometimes. Can you put a stamp inside my passport that shows me? So I wanted the stamp from all the countries that I visited. Cool. And they do it. They do it for you. But they're like, you Americans, boom.
On our stamp, man.
That
I used
stamp,
to get mad when I go to Canada. Not recently because of Rona, but you can go to Canada in like an hour and a half here, and they never stamped the passport. So like I could fill my maybe that's why, because I could fill my passport with stamps going in and out of Ontario. Maybe that's why they're trying to do you a favor. See, they're trying.
But Italy was one of my favorite places for the climate, for the beauty of the land, and there's a place there halfway between the border of Italy, from the border between Germany and Italy and Rome, and it's a military MWR facility. It's called Camp Darby. And what I would do at the time, because I was active duty military at the time, we would camp there, and we would leave our tent set up inside the camp, and we would use that as a home base. So, you know, we would go down to Venice, or we go down to Pisa, or we would go to Rome, and we'd always, every night, we'd just come back and we would sleep inside the tent back in Camp Darby. But the country is beautiful, and when I was there, I haven't been there in quite some time, but it just seemed, all the pictures that you see from all those old World War II movies and stuff like that, of the countryside and the way the houses are built, the architecture, they weren't changed in the 90s when I was going through all that. Nothing changed, and I imagine till today that hasn't changed either. It has the old style feeling and the nostalgia, and it's all there. But if you haven't been, and Chuck, I don't think you've been, you know, the way you're talking. If you do go, I will tell you, you just have to be cautious in Italy, and you probably heard about.
I've heard stories.
Yeah, the stories, especially in the south. Once you get from Rome and south of Rome, you just have to be you have to have a lot of common sense and cautious. Make sure you secure, if you have funds and stuff like that on you, make sure you secure them in good places.
I'm laughing. It's like New York City. So I think I've been trained. Just have to remember my training when I.
You'll have to remember that, and it's true. It's true. And I was told, and I'll tell you. I'll try to make this a real quick short story too. Before I went there my first time, and camping at Camp Darby, that was our first time going to Rome. I was advised that be careful. They said it doesn't even matter if you install an alarm system in your car, in your vehicle. They don't care. If it depends on where you're at, they will break into your car with the alarm going, and they don't care about the net, because none of the neighbors are going to say anything about it.
Ignore it, like it's just a normal thing, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, I did. I went ahead and I installed an alarm system inside my vehicle, and I was in Rome, and I parked 2 blocks from the Vatican on a public street in a housing district. 2 blocks.
Yeah, you think 2 blocks from the Vatican?
I'm thinking 2 blocks from the Vatican. That's what I thought. I thought this is safe.
High traffic.
Yeah. You know, there's going to be, you know, the police is going to be around there, because this is a tourist area. I thought it was okay, so I did my thing going around the Vatican and saw all the stuff. And I got back to my car, and I tried to put my key in the keyhole to unlock the door, and it wouldn't fit in there. And then I looked, and I saw it looked like there was somebody took a screwdriver, tried to jam inside the door to try to break. And then I looked inside, and I saw the alarm. When your alarm goes off, it will be flashing when you come back to notify you that it was set off.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it was set off. And so somebody had tried, and it was right in the middle. You could see, if the alarm goes off, you could see all the houses and the people that you would think would look out on their balcony saying,
Nobody cares.
What are you doing out there? You know, you would think, but luckily we didn't have anything inside the car. And what they tell you is, when you are in places like that in Italy, don't have anything that covers up anything inside your car. Like if you have
you want
value,
right.
Make sure they can look inside the window and see there's nothing in there to steal.
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are some of the precautions that you really have to take. Now that's only for those who have vehicles. I lived there, so I had my vehicle. Most tourists, they fly in. They use the taxi cab, the public services and stuff like that. So you normally don't have to worry about. Oh, another very quick story. Very quick.
Okay, go
well,
ahead.
Yeah, I was in one place.
Story
One of the
time
things
with James Tanner.
I went to the Coliseum. And this is where this happened. This quick story happened. And one of the other things I was warned about. You get a briefing. Especially if you're military, before you go to these places. And one of the things in the briefing they told you, watch out for the kids that will congregate around you. They will all just pile. A massive children will come and they'll be tapping you.
That's what I heard about. They do that. It's like a gypsy trick. They distract
like a
you.
gypsy,
And then,
that's what they do. And they said
Yep.
to have like little newspapers or magazines, and they'll all come around and they'll be tapping you, and you'll think about pushing them around. They said, watch out for that. And when I was at the Coliseum, that's exactly what happened. And they tell you the best way to put your
how do you
your wallet
diffuse
and
that?
things.
Yeah.
But they tell you these things with the belt. You have the belts that you can put if you want to put, the zipper, and you can put stuff. Or the fanny packs. The fanny packs, and it's up underneath your shirt, and you can all these different things that they teach you. And it was valid because that's what I did. I took the lessons that they had, and sure, I could see them coming. I knew what was going to happen, and I did. But I was prepared. I was prepared for that. But that's what I'm saying. I really haven't had too much of a problem anywhere else, and I've been all over Europe, north, south, east, and west. But the place that I had, and luckily I was wearing, was Italy. It's beautiful, but you just have to have common sense there.
Yeah.
Well, we were my wife and I went to Portland, Oregon, a few years back for my birthday, and we decided to stop between the airport and the hotel, which my wife said was a very bad idea. And it's like, no, it'll be okay. We'll just grab a beer at the Chutes. It'll be fine. Park the car in this shady parking garage that even the dude working the garage looked a little shady. And all the red flags should have popped up, and park the car and go in. And we have a few beers and dinner and everything. Come back out, and yep, the car door's open. Bags are gone. Just got to Oregon. They took the two carry-ons and they left the big honking Samsonite suitcase that weighed like 50 pounds because they knew the good stuff was in the carry-ons. And so yeah, we've been rolled. It's the worst feeling ever.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a violation.
Yeah,
It's
your
personal.
wife is smart.
And my wife, thanks Art. My wife, she's smart. Husband, not so much. It'll be fine. Beer more important. Yeah.
Well, you do your best. You try to assess the situation. You try to use common sense. But sometimes even in the best places, and everything looks good, and you're using your common sense, these things can happen even in a place. But your odds of it happening in one of those shady kind of places like you're talking about.
But it was high traffic. It was high traffic too. That was the thing. But maybe not so much in the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it happens. It happens. Mm-hmm. But it is. And that's a horrible feeling, and it's that personal violation kind of thing. It's just, and it's hard to get over something like that, and you remember that for quite a long period of time.
The cleanup was a mess because back when that happened, I had a laptop that I just used it on the plane. I slammed the lid shut, and it didn't have a password on it or anything. And then when it got stolen from my carry-on, somebody opens it up, and it was signed into Google, and I was changing passwords as fast as I could. I had a notepad in the hotel room, and I'm writing everything down. I'm changing everything, and they tried to get into my bank accounts, but I'd already locked them all down and everything. But yeah,
Hey,
I mean, it was like
all the way from Dillon, Colorado. It is Sean Oz. Hey, Sean.
Today's video.
Good to see you.
What?
Hey,
Guys. What is up, everybody?
checking your stuff out.
Evening,
It doesn't sound good, does it?
That sounds a little dirty.
It sounds. I'm sorry. Your
Sorry,
YouTube.
Just
your
getting
YouTube
everything all
stuff.
set up here. Sorry, Art. I got home from work a little early, so saw your link and thought I'd see if you guys were still online or not.
Yeah.
Sean, I got to ask you: is that an original arcade Pac-Man machine behind you? Is
So
that
these are
real?
reproductions by Arcade One Up. So this is a Miss Pac-Man, and on the other side is a Pac-Man. Pac-Man has Galaga and a couple other games in it. The Miss Pac-Man has Dig Dug and a couple other games in it.
Nice.
Oh man,
Nice.
I'm
And that
jealous.
company is, I'll tell you what's interesting is that company's their next run of new games, they're gonna have a machine that has Dragon's Lair, Space Ace, and Dragon's Lair 2 in it. If you recall that one, you remember that one with the cartoon, and you have to push one way or the other to try to stay alive.
I bet I like the original classics. I like the Pac-Man
Yeah,
and
yeah, me too.
Dig Dug, and I really like. I wish I know it would cost a fortune to get something like that sent over
You can
here.
actually buy.
They have kits. They have kits that you can build.
Yeah, they sell these at Walmart, Best Buy. They're like
Yeah,
depending on
like
which
I got a
one you get.
Walmart, like I got a Walmart or a Best Buy right behind my house over here.
Yeah, I don't have one very much up here. Best Buy is I got to drive all the way to Denver for Best Buy, which is like hour and a half. But
Sean,
yeah, you
I'm
can
like
jump online and
Sean,
order it.
I'm like 8,000 miles from you, man. across the pond.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, you can jump online. Like I said, they sell them online as well. Amazon has them. So
Well, I could probably, yeah. I'm gonna have to look into. I would love that because we have a little tiki bar and a
Yes.
and a home in our basement. We kind of converted our garage into like a multimedia area down there, and I would love. I can't tell you. I would love to have one of those. Now I could probably, if I could find kits, because I imagine most of the components and all. They're boards. They're just like some computer boards.
oh,
And I
yeah,
could,
it's so little that puts this thing together. It's
yeah,
a tiny little board, and I mean they're 3/4 scale, so they're not even full
yeah.
size.
Yeah, and I could do all the building the case, the framework and everything for that here. I could do
Well, it
something.
all comes together in a box. You just unpack it and screw it together, and you're done.
Like an
Like
IKEA.
$300, done.
Like an
Just
IKEA
what-
Pac-Man.
Pretty much.
That's what I need. Another project around here.
Oh, another one
It'll
not
take
to
you
get
about an
done.
hour to put it together. How's it
How
going,
is
Art?
finding that hour, Sean? It's finding the hour.
Yeah, I feel you there.
Ask my wife. 2 years ago. Where's that hour? You know, my sister's ex-husband, his family business, well, his parents' family business used to be to put arcade games in bars and stuff around in Syracuse, New York, and
Yeah.
his house was the greatest house to go to. The whole garage was the service area, and they had all the arcade games, Pac-Man and Asteroid and all this stuff. And the pinball machines are all up and running. You can just open up the chutes and
Oh.
click, 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 put in like
So
a
at my
1,000
tattoo
credits.
studio,
Yeah.
studio, I have Street Fighter, one of these by Street Fighter, and another version of Pac-Man. But one of the guys that watches my channel, he collects pinball machines, and he found out I like the Terminator 2 pinball, which is my favorite.
Ooh.
And he's got the original for that, and he's going to bring it up to my studio and let me hang it out at the studio for a few months. And just I'll be in the back room playing Terminator. No tattoos tonight. I'm playing
There you
pinball.
go.
So you're gonna disappear. You're gonna go off the grid.
Yeah, you guys won't see any new videos for a while. I'll be busy doing that. Or you'll see a whole bunch of videos where I take the glass off and set a GoPro down, and the ball goes right by
Nice.
the camera and stuff. Maybe
There you
smash
go.
the screen.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Back
I
in
want-
the 50s, my dad did an early version of video games. It's called Shuffleboard.
That and Pong, right?
Shuffleboard.
Yep. He and his buddy, they had several shuffleboard games at different bars around Seattle. And here's the kicker. When he set that up, he had to join the Longshoremen's Union. Otherwise, his games would be, well, let's say, ruined. Yeah, they would damage the tables or steal the pucks. Yeah, so he did that for a couple years, and he got tired of putting up with the crap. And he said, "I'm done." He's sold out his interests, and then he moved here to Denver from Seattle. That's back when he worked at Boeing.
Oh yeah, Boeing. It was Seattle.
Yeah. Well, we got probably the second biggest Boeing plant in Charleston. That's where they do the Dreamliner. The Dreamliner is built. Yeah.
Cool.
That's that. So that was touch and go for a long time because the people in Seattle didn't want to give up everything that they had up there, and it had a lot of it had to do with the unions, the problems with the union, because at the beginning, I don't know if they have them now, they might have it now, but at the beginning there was no union work, and that's one of the main things that Boeing wanted to do. The weather was good in Charleston, because the weather in Seattle is not nearly as good all year round as it is, they're able to store stuff on the outside down in Charleston and all.
It's like Syracuse.
Yeah, but at the beginning there was no union. I don't know if they unionize now. I think most everything ends up going towards unions. But what amazed me is I don't know if you ever have seen this or you know about it, but when they build the Dreamliner, I don't think the entire thing is assembled in Charleston. I think they make components. They even make the fuselage is made down in Charleston.
Cool.
They have this huge, I don't know if you've had a chance to see it, but they have this huge plane. It's got the diameter of the fuselage of this plane. I think it's the biggest plane in the world. Maybe not length or wingspan or whatever, but it's huge. When you look at it, it looks like a 6-story hotel building. And they take the fuselage that they build in Charleston,
put it
inside that one.
Oh, that's awesome.
Then they fly that up to Seattle, where I think the final assembly is done up in Seattle at the mother.
Is that the flying guppy? Because I think they use that to fly the boosters to Canaveral.
It does look like a fat fish. It does look, and it's amazing when you watch that flying in the air, because before they take off for the long flight going to Seattle from Charleston, it kind of circles a few times, maybe to stabilize or do whatever it has to do around. And you can watch it, and it's so big. It's almost like watching, but more massively, more defined. The C-5 Galaxy that the Air Force has. That's the biggest cargo aircraft that the Air Force has. But this one that takes the Dreamliner fuselage, it's bigger in diameter as far as and it just looks awkward. It looks like it would never be able to take off the ground. And when you watch it flying, it almost looks like it's sitting there still in the sky, and it looks like it should just drop. It should drop out of the sky. But it's
it's a goose.
Yeah. But it's incredible to watch it. I didn't know if that little bit of trivia, if you knew anything about that, but it's really fantastic to watch.
Art, did you already talk there? What's that, Art?
How's the weather up there?
It's cold today. It's got cold. It was beautiful. The last few days, it felt like it was March. Yeah. It was so warm. Our snow. This is the worst snow season I've ever heard of up here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But
when you say worse, Sean, when you say worse, you mean no snow or too much snow?
Not enough.
Okay, as I say, from a skier's perspective, that's what I was
mountains are still open, but I can see grass. Like there's grass in the yard, and that's usually by almost February. I've got like a snow fort I'm building. There's not enough to even pile up enough to make a snow fort.
We're not getting much here either, and we should have 100 inches by now.
Yeah, we probably have that, but it's just not holding anywhere except on the peaks. They're having to still make man-made stuff to mix in. Mammoth just got dumped in 24 hours, 45 inches in 24 hours. Mammoth Mountain over in Northern California.
Yep.
Hey, did you guys already talk about this Florida event? Did I miss that?
I kind of talked about it a little bit. Yeah, down in Sebastian.
Yeah, Sebastian's Inlet. I always remember that because of Kelly Slater and him growing up and being a fan of his surfing. That was like one of his go-to places. But who's all going? You going?
Yeah, it looks like I'm going. I just have to get a ticket and go get a hotel room and rent a car. And I'm bringing some fishing gear with me. So I think.
Is it a one-day meetup? Do you know? Do you know the details of it? Is it a one-day meetup or?
Yes, it's on March 20th. And if you go to Ray Kelly's Facebook page, he's got a thing about the meetup.
I'll have to check it
So
out.
it
March
should be
makes it
alright.
hard for me because that the entire month of March is spring break up here because
Yeah.
everybody comes from everywhere, all over the world,
Yep.
and all that business. It's hard to not be here for it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But we will see because we are talking about how much fun it would be to go back to Universal and Disney again, like I just went not long ago, and that would be cool to double it up since I think it's only about an hour and a half from Sebastian's Inlet to Disney.
Yep.
What about
Yeah,
you
I'll
two
be
guys? You guys
flying.
going?
I'm just hearing about it, but
Yeah.
Well, James is
I don't
stuck
know.
in the Philippines.
I'm in.
I'm
the,
not.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. I didn't know you were in the Philippines.
I
That's
don't
what
think.
you mean by 8,000 miles. That makes a lot more sense now.
But if any of you guys want to chip in for a plane ticket, I tell you what, I will do my best to make that
Yeah,
event.
we'll get that GoFundMe set up right now.
there we go. There we go. Start right now on this live stream.
You got to be careful. You got to be careful with the GoFundMe. I would tell you, if you even make a comment sometime, people start pumping money into it. I told you, if you remember at the beginning of last year, it's hard to say last year. It seems like we're still in this one big massive bubble of this really crazy year going on. But at the beginning. At the beginning of 2020, in January 2020, remember the volcano over here blew. It was a massive event. As a matter of fact, I was up on the roof the day before yesterday. I had to clean off our hot water solar panel up there for our hot water heater up there, and because it wasn't working, we weren't getting any.
Couldn't see.
Well, yeah, and I've flown the drone, and since this is a drone show, I will use
Best
the
way
word
to
drone.
inspect.
I'm going
Hey,
to
I
use the
hate to
word
interrupt,
drone.
but I only had a couple of minutes, Art. I just saw that you sent that. I got to go. Dinner is ready since I came home
Okay.
early to eat dinner with the
Good to
family.
see you, Sean. Thanks.
Sorry to interrupt your story. I'll see you guys later. You guys
Good
have a
seeing
good
you,
rest of your
Sean.
show.
Yeah.
All right,
Hey,
you guys
take care,
care.
Sean.
Take
Nice
care,
seeing you,
man.
man. Nice meeting
Thanks.
you, kind of.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Later, everyone.
Thanks. Cheers. Anyway.
Carry on, James.
Yeah, I had to. Everybody keeps telling me when I do the 360-degree fly around the house when I do any of the episodes. They're like, "What's all that black stuff on your roof?" Well, I'm thinking to myself, obviously you haven't been following my channel, and you would have seen this little event that happened, like a eruption of a volcano that devastated this part of the Philippines. And we were lucky. We were extremely lucky because the prevailing winds were from the south to the north. So it dumped. It's not that far. It's maybe 40 or 50 kilometers to Manila from here. But it dumped more volcanic ash on Manila than it did us. And we're only like, how many kilometers? 21. We're 21 kilometers right next to the volcano in this direction right here, about 21 kilometers. And but we did get ash over our property for many days because it just kept blowing and blowing. Yeah, it kept snowing. And
Wow.
my roof is horrible. We had this beautiful tiled roof on this house. It's not so beautiful anymore. The architecture's still there, but it's horrible and I'm not going to get up there where there's pressure washed because we have a very steep roof. It's like 35
Is it clay?
degree.
James,
No,
is it a
it's
clay
not.
roof?
No, it's not. It's actually it's
Like
a
a
company
composite?
from the U.S. It's a company that makes the tiles here, and
Yeah.
it's like asphalt tiles, but it's asphalt. It's like asphalt sandy granules that are on like 4 layers of zinc and aluminum and all these different types of protective coatings that they have on there. But as you know, if you have asphalt, which most of us in the U.S., especially in the southeast where we built, you put asphalt tiles on your house. And what happens is when you have volcanic ash that falls on that, it's black gray, and it discolors it. And if you have too much, it turns ash is what's used in Portland, like a Portland cement mix over here.
It's like a cement, yeah.
It turns into cement. That's why all the roofs.
Oh, okay.
That's why the roofs caved in over here on many of the houses, especially all the houses around that were built around the volcano, all the roofs, and that's in Chuck. I don't know if you got the chance to watch my volcano. I highly recommend it. We have like 500,000 views on that. You should take a look.
I'm coming over to your channel after this to go snoop around. I've got a lot of catching up to do.
But anyway, the roofs just cave in. But for us, we were lucky because the Pirelli winds sent them north. But we did get the effect, and one of the things that it did, it discolored all of our roofing tiles. As all my viewers always keep telling me, why is your roof so dirty? And it also covered the glass, whatever the material is for our solar collector, for our hot water heater. And I've been wondering why our hot water heater is dual. It's a hybrid. You can turn on a breaker, and on cloudy days, on days that we don't have enough, it works just like a regular hot. Yeah, it works just like a regular hot water heater. And on days that it is sunny, it just supplements it so that we'll keep it up to a certain temperature. Normally, I can leave it off during the sunny season when it's not rainy season. You can leave it off, and it just provides all the hot water. It's free, all free hot water here.
Right.
But I've noticed since the volcano, coincidentally, that I can never let it go only on the solar panel. So on several of those videos where we did the flyover, and people made a comment, man, you need to do something to your solar panel. So that's what I did, and I had to do it when Ness wasn't watching. But I climbed up on our 9 meter high roof. On a 35 degree pitch.
Oh boy!
I climbed up there, and I went up there with my little rag and brush, and I cleaned it up. And I noticed it's actually working much better.
Wax off.
Oh, thank you very much for standing here. I didn't know you were in the background, so I just let the cat out of the bag. So that's not going to be.
You know
good
what,
for me,
James? I'm surprised nobody did this. Remember after Mount St. Helens erupted? Somebody
I remember.
got a good idea to take some of that ash and heat it up, and they turned it into this green glass. If they would have taken some of that volcanic ash, heated up, it's a silicate. And heated up. They could have made
rock.
Yeah. Some of
it
is, chunks of rock, but most of it is a really fine powder.
Oh, it's about as fine as you could get. It's almost like, it's not like talc, but it's in between talc and salt.
And
it's
pumice.
right in the.
Now, isn't that what's in lava soap too? It's actually pumice and lava soap that gives it that grittiness?
That's what it is. What it is. Well, I will tell you, because I still have bags of it left over. When I swept our lanai, our patio, and I saved a lot of that, because that is one of the key ingredients. If you make your own potting soil over here,
must be loaded with minerals and stuff.
It is loaded with minerals.
Yeah,
it really helps. And I have bags. I have bags inside the basement, inside my garden cabinet, and I have some still out by the Baje Cubo out there. And what I do is I always add a little bit of that into my potting mixture, and that's one of the main reasons, especially right here in Batangas, in the Lipa area. Why everybody says, why is everything so green in your area? No matter what you do, what do you put inside the ground? What kind of fertilizer do you use? Well, if you don't put any fertilizer in the ground here, it's going to grow. It's going to grow.
Yep.
Did you, Chuck? I showed in a couple of videos back. I showed my Jurassic Park lemons.
Oh, I've seen it. Because for like 8 years in a row, my wife and I went to St. Thomas like for a week, and so same house, and this dude next door to him was this Russian guy, for that matter. He used to run around in a Speedo. It was kind of scary. But anyway, he planted banana trees. I remember one year he just planted banana trees, and I think we went back like was 1 or 2 years later, and they're like, things just grow overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
your climate's the same.
Yeah, it's a combination. St. Tomas is only, like I said, it's only about 30 minutes from here. It's halfway between us and Manila. If it's the same place you're talking about,
that's down close to the Caribbean,
different. Different place. Oh, I'm sorry, we're talking about two different.
No, but I mean, but the climate
yeah.
is.
Well, it's
clearly
the same.
similar.
We have a friend, one of my family members, my brother-in-law. He's from Tortola in the British Virgin Islands.
Okay, yeah, I've
and
been,
And
yeah.
we've been visiting there, and the climate is relatively close to what we have here in
kinda
the Philippines.
figured.
Although it's a little bit more stable in the hot temperatures here year round than it is in the BVI. But yeah, when I was visiting there, the same thing. You look at all the banana plants, all the vegetation.
It grows overnight.
Yeah,
It's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
and they're
it's-
very seismically active. Speaking, I know you obviously you are, but I mean they were. I remember going on a couple of snorkeling charters, and they were talking about how they get like it's like 600 earthquakes a year or something. Maybe teeny tiny ones, but
Yeah. Well, you kind of get used to it. I guess you could say you get used to it. I don't know if I've gotten used to it or not, but it's weird. And I made an observation to Ness the other day because we sit in the living room here sometimes, and it almost feels like the house is sitting on a waterbed. That's the closest comparison. That lit no.
I like that feeling of my.
I am so serious. You get this almost this vertigo feeling sometimes, and it's very
Kinda
slight.
like-
It's the most minimal, but you can feel it. And I would say that the people who have lived here all their lives, they don't notice it because they're so accustomed to it. But me
Yeah.
being only here 4 years, living here for 4 years, I can sense the most minor tremors. I can sense the most minor movements. And I suspect what it is the islands of the Philippines, because we're right on the edge of one of those tectonic plates.
Uh-huh.
Well, all of the Philippines is on that. So we're basically, when I make the comparison to being on a waterbed, the water being the lava that's underneath the tectonic plate here. And I think, for those of
You think it's
us
kind
who-
of like a raft?
yeah, and you feel that. And it's ever so slight. It's ever so slight. But I notice those things where most people, when you ask somebody else around here, they're like, it's either I notice it or I'm getting old, and I am getting all of these vertigo sensations or something. But I can feel, and Ness confirmed with me too, that she's felt these different types of, because she asked me something. We kind of look at each other every now and then. Did you feel that? Did you feel that? You know? Yeah, but you can feel that. But going back to what you're talking about it making the earth rich, it definitely does. The mixture of 365 days of the year of breakdown of vegetation that becomes organic inside the ground, and the fact that they do have the volcanic activity over millions of years. And I've talked with Art before. I've looked, when we built our cistern is 4.5 meters down in the ground, 4.5 meters. And when we got about halfway down, we started striking some large lava rock formations inside there.
Yep.
So I don't know how long
remember
it
that.
takes. Yeah, I don't know how long it takes for like 2 meters, 2.5 meters deep of earth over millions and millions of years to get to that point. But there was probably some really big volcanic eruptions, probably from Taal, that distributed as far as at least 21 kilometers from the center of the volcano out there that hit us over here in this area. So, but it's rich.
Crazy.
The soil is rich. The soil is super rich here.
I've heard
James,
stories
I
about.
don't know if you've followed this channel. There's this really good channel called World War II, and right now they're covering the battle on Bataan.
Ah, is that on
Yeah.
YouTube or on TV?
Yes, it is.
YouTube.
Which?
It's World War II.
Which
No,
channel?
which channel?
Oh, that's the channel on YouTube.
Oh, okay, YouTube.
And
Jim,
it's
you
part of
asked, Art answered, and I was
Time
like-
Ghost Army, and Time Ghost TV, and they also did the Great War, which is World War One, and they have a series called In Between Two Wars, where they talk about what's going on in the world, you know, from 1919 all the way up to World War II. I mean, that's very interesting. Right now, World War II, we're at the beginning of the Pacific War. This is now it's 1942 in the Philippines. And the Japanese are coming down the peninsula and MacArthur and his troops are being surrounded. He's over on Corregidor, just before they left for Australia. Now there's a famous Filipino who became the president of the Philippines, who was part of that death march. Do you know the name of that?
Well, let me ask, hold on. Ness is a history, although it's U.S. history. Ness, who was the president when they did the death march? Remember the Bataan death march here?
He wasn't
when
president then.
It was after that. It was after. He
Oh,
became
are
president.
you talking about Philippine history?
Yeah, Philippine history.
I'm not Philippine
Oh my
history.
goodness, she knows.
I'm US history.
She knows more about U.S. history than she does about Philippine history. Can you believe that? Oh. But she's talked with me. She's talked with me. I know she
Give
knows
you a
it.
hint. His wife had a whole bunch of shoes.
Aquino.
That doesn't narrow it down for me.
No.
No?
When you say
Aquino didn't-
his wife has a whole bunch
Marcos.
of shoes,
Marcos.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, here's an interesting fact. And if you get an opportunity, I don't know what type of television or movies that either one of you enjoy, but I'm a really big Ron Howard fan. Anything that Ron Howard directs, it's automatically, it's like there are certain actors out there, no matter what they're in, I know it's going to be a good movie. And everything that I've ever seen by Ron Howard, remember Opie from Andy Griffith
Cocoon.
Show?
He directed Cocoon, right? And then countless other things too. But yeah, he was on Happy Days.
Apollo 13.
From Happy Days.
Yeah. Everything he touches when it comes to media, it's gold. It turns to gold, in my opinion, and that's my taste. But yesterday, I'm a big Beatles fan. I love music from the '60s because it was a turning point. I think between the '60s and the '70s, it was a major turning point for music. And there was a turning point from the '50s to the '60s and the '60s and '70s. But one of my favorite bands is the Beatles. And I was browsing yesterday, and it didn't have anything to do with the Beatles. It had to do with Ron Howard. I was looking for movies produced or directed by Ron Howard, and I didn't realize he just finished a documentary on the Beatles called 8 Days a Week. 8 Days a Week. And I said, oh, I got to check this out. One of my favorite bands, one of my favorite directors, producers, and I watched that yesterday, and it was phenomenal. There were scenes and clips that I don't know if they've ever been released before. And this isn't a plug. This isn't a plug for Ron Howard or anything like that, but I really enjoyed it. But what I really enjoyed finding out in a segment that has to do with me living here in the Philippines is around, I think it was around 64 or 65. I think it was around maybe 65, maybe later. I don't remember the exact date, but maybe it was a little later because it was when the Beatles started getting slammed from a bunch of countries saying we don't want you here anymore because of some of they started getting a little cocky, I guess, and but they were evolving, and they had just come off of a tour in Japan, and they were taking a vacation break. They went to Manila. They were in the area, so they were taking a day off in Manila, and while they were visiting in Manila to relax, they were invited to the White House. It was Manuel Quezon. Is that the one? That's not fair. You just cheated. You
cheated?
You Googled.
Googled?
It. Yeah. So anyway, let me get back to the story. Is they were in Manila and they were in Imelda Marcos had invited them to the White House for lunch, and they said no. Oh, and that was in all the headlines all over that the Beatles snubbed Marcos.
Oh,
yeah, it was.
They became persona non grata then.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, it was. Well,
that's one thing you never do in the Philippines is you never insult somebody in the Philippines.
Well, especially
you don't make fun. never
especially
make fun of their leaders.
that's right.
You don't make fun of their athletes or their actors and actresses.
Well,
oh boy.
And that's kind of quid pro quo because they never do that to anybody else. They have so much discipline with their attitudes over here, and everything is done. There's no. They try not to. They try not to do controversy as much as possible until so much is thrown in their face over here that they justifiably have to respond about things like that. It's like what Duterte does up here. If he's insulted by another government, I'm not going to say which government, but then he takes a stand basically to defend his people and his policies over here. But they're very conservative, and they take a lot. And I like the attitudes. I really like the attitudes, and that's why I try to do business over here. When I say business, I'm in the HOA. When somebody has a problem over here, I listen. I try to listen. I try to listen to both sides. I try to do as much moderation between parties over here to try to do resolution, because that's the way they do things here, and it works. It works very well. There's a lot of very long discussions over here. But sometimes what happens, and I'm going to make this, and maybe...
Are you waiting for it? He's going to make it short. Watch.
Yeah, maybe it's not going to go over too well with some people, but sometimes, especially we as Americans, and I can say it because I'm an American, sometimes we have people that come over here and visit, and what they try to do is they try to do the American way of doing things in the Philippines. And you'll see that in some vlogs, that especially on YouTube. We'll have some expats over here, and you'll see that with people who move to the Philippines, and they move into these communities over here, and they try to force their way of life on the Philippine people, and it doesn't work. You'll see at the very beginning, the Filipinos will stand back and they'll listen. They'll be as kind as and just listen and listen. But at some point, like I just saw there were like 20 Americans exported out of the country. They were deported, not exported, deported. With they lost their visas over here, and I don't know why.
Hello,
I don't know.
the K spot. You got a new
Keith.
person.
Keith just woke up. It's 9:28 a.m. in Thailand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not much from our time. What time is our time over here? We're 10:28. We're an hour from those guys.
Okay. Yeah. You guys are neighbors.
Yeah.
I like Thai.
He's my
Thailand's-
live stream bud on 2K Drones on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m.
Okay.
Eastern. We just did one this morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Thailand. The people are wonderful over there.
And
The
Grant,
beach.
Mr. Stay Drunk, he's from down under. He's from Australia. And Greg was on earlier in the show. I mean, in the chat. He was just too tired to come in the panel.
He needed to get a nap like I did.
Yeah. So,
It's nice that
James,
Sean
I
stopped
wanted
by.
to show you my new toy that I got. I
Ooh.
showed this off earlier in the show.
Hey,
It's
where
a
the
little
where the
RC
where are the
car.
propeller? I don't see any of the propellers on there. Where-
He's going to add them later. Yeah, it's
Do
a
the-
kit.
do
Well, I like to
It'll
be
do
an
it
add-on
on
kit.
a
Do the wheels
GoPro
pop off
camera.
and they flip
Yeah,
over to the
like,
side? They turn.
yeah, might-
Yeah.
And a flux capacitor maybe too.
Hey, there's
Maybe
an
like-
idea. Oh,
Yeah, it does
if we
morph a little bit. You can hit a button and it'll flatten out, and then when you turn it, it curves. The front and the back end will turn, and you can really get some tight turns on this. But boy,
When are you going to do a video,
this
Art?
thing
You
is
going to do a video of it?
Yeah, I'm going to do a video
Nice.
on it tomorrow. I'm
All
going to
right.
get all my GoPros all charged up tonight.
There you go.
and Ready to go.
Oh,
All right.
I have to share something with you, Art, and this won't be long either.
Yeah, okay, well, it's only 2 hours and 35 minutes.
I'm sorry. I just met James tonight, and I'm just I know. I know you, James. You're like me. I know.
And that's just my characteristic. I sometimes I get long-winded, and I apologize again. But anyway, you remember the video that we did here? My nephew that came with his drone, the little mini. He has a
Oh
kit.
yeah, the little FPV
Oh,
drone.
oh yeah, the FPV, and he is so good with these things. And did you see the video that we did of the birthday party of Lee's birthday party here? It was only like 2 videos back, maybe the last video.
Yeah, I saw
Maybe
that.
the last
yeah.
video. Well, Magan brought his drone that day too because I
cool.
challenged him. I said, because you see, I've never seen anybody fly. He has some great. He was living and working in Tortola in the BVI.
Nice.
And then when the hurricane took half the island away.
Oh man, three of
He-
them, right? That was
Yeah,
like,
he got evacuated. The Philippine government evacuated him. But he's back here inside the Philippines right now, and but he's still flying. He's doing all the flying with the drones over. He's still building his kits, and he tests and experiments. But he's he does those little tiny drones.
oh, the
that are only
Cinewhoops, like a Cinewhoop.
I don't know. I'm a DJI guy. I got this huge.
So am I,
Yeah.
but you can't miss these Cinewhoop guys. Are like,
But
they're like this
it's,
big.
yeah, and they're great. Well, it's not that small. It's a
Well,
little
you know
bit
what I
bigger
mean?
than
Yeah,
that.
they're small.
Yeah, but the thing is, the ability of them to turn on a dime and to be able to maneuver and shoot through these tight spaces like this right here, it's incredible. And I would say he's mastered it until I tell you what the story right here. But he's pretty much mastered his trade of doing the racing and the stunts and all these kind of things. Well, he brought it the day we did Lee's birthday party over here, and I challenged him. I probably shouldn't have done it, but it had nothing to do with my challenge. My challenge was I wanted him to fly. We had the waterfall going inside in the pool. We've got the bridge inside there, and I wanted him. I said, "You have the ability to fly that thing under the bridge and pop it up by the waterfall straight back up again without running into anything." And it's like, "Oh yeah, Tito James, that's easy. That's no problem." And I'm like, "Okay." So we're sitting out there, and I didn't even know he was out in the street flying his drone. Next thing I know, this drone just comes, boom, so fast, and he starts doing these 360-degree things around. I thought he was going to run into our personal weather station because he can't see. He's using the FPV
The
thing.
goggles.
The
Yeah,
goggles,
yeah.
and I don't know if he could see something as small as my personal weather station above the garden. And I thought he was about to hit it because he kept swooping around there. And next thing it's like a bee. You know how a bee will come in, boom, and it's gone? It's boom, so fast. Well, that's what it did. It came in, it swooped around, it did a couple of stunts inside there, boom, it was gone. And then I was expecting him to do the little stunt going underneath the bridge because he hadn't done that yet. But it was in and out so fast, and then it was totally quiet. I didn't hear anything anymore.
Uh-oh.
And then my niece came over and she said, "Tito James," she said, "Magan crashed his drone out in the street." And I'm like, "In the street? You mean on the concrete?" And I'm thinking, "Oh, this can't be good."
Those things bounce.
Yeah, well, so I walked out there. I said, "Magan, what's going on?" He said, "Tito James, yeah, I crashed the drone." I said, "What happened?" "What happened?" And I looked at it. And the drone portion, it looked kind of okay. I saw the props were still on there. And he showed me a couple of the props were bent. I'm like, how can you bend? But you can actually damage the little, and they're small. The props, they're probably only
Yeah, they're usually
maybe-
3 props, and they're very small.
maybe 2 to 3 inches wide, each one of the individual
Yeah.
the prop off of the center. And he showed me a couple of them were bent, but that wasn't the problem. He'd already torn this whole thing apart. It was sitting in the back of his truck,
Love it.
laying. But I saw the frame. The frame didn't. Yeah,
Kinda like
that's-
this.
Yeah, kind of like that. Kind of like
Nice,
that. A little
Art.
smaller, maybe just
Nice,
a little bit
man.
smaller than that.
Yeah, this is a 5-inch, and it's got a camera right here.
Well,
I
he-
mounted a GoPro up here. And,
Yeah, and that's what he had. Yeah, that's what. And I
Size
want-
pack does
I
that?
wa- he
Sorry.
What-
Sorry,
what?
James.
It's
No, you're in the middle of your story, and I interrupted. Go.
Oh,
I thought you
Squirrel
were
thing,
asking
I'm
Art a
sorry.
question.
I
thought
saw
you were
I
asking
saw
Art a
Art's
question.
drone. I was going to ask him how many. What was this 4S battery pack or whatever? But I interrupted. I'm sorry.
I think it's a 4S battery. I can't
Well,
remember.
let me get back to my story.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Because I'm an old guy, and I'll forget about it. Then I'll have to start all over again. And I know you don't. I know you don't want that.
CRDD over here. So
So anyway, I looked at it, and he had it kind of torn apart. There were
Squirrel.
components. There were components
Yes.
laying around in the back of his truck, and the frame didn't look bad. The prop, when I looked at it, didn't look bad. It looked. He showed me one was a little bit bent, but then he showed me where the damage was. And you were talking
one
about
of
he had a
his main
GoPro.
boards.
He had a GoPro. He had a GoPro on there.
Had is the
And
word
had
here.
is had
Definitive
is the
word.
keyword. The definitive word. Yeah, the definitive word. And he showed me the battery pack. Now the battery pack was it's one of these. It looks like a stick
Yep.
of C4 is what it looks like. Is
Yep.
what this battery pack looks like. But
Blows
one
up like
side,
one, too.
one side was totally crushed in. I didn't see any leakage at the point when I was looking at it, but it must have landed on two things: the battery pack and the GoPro. The GoPro, on the lens, there's a circuit board behind actual
Yep.
optical dynamics inside there.
Yeah.
Well, the circuit board was all shattered. There was nothing left of the circuit board that was inside there, and he kept trying to turn it, get the light to come on, so it shows that the GoPro was still active, and it wouldn't come on. So I told him, I said, pull the battery out, put the battery back in again, and try to reset it from that. I said, because sometimes I have a problem with that. He did that. That didn't work. Nothing came back on. And then I said, I tell you what. I said, give me your SD card, because you were recording, and I said, let me post your video, and if I make any money, I'll give you the money from whatever I make on your video, because I think it'll go viral. I need that video. That will be a money shot from that video when it crashed. So I brought the SD card inside, and unfortunately, when it crashed, it corrupted. It also corrupted the file. that was on
There's
there.
no way to fix it. No way to clean the file.
No. There was the file. No, the file wasn't
yeah,
even
once
on.
you lose power, it'll screw up.
There was such
because
there was such a catastrophic failure at that moment in the middle of a process that was going on inside. So I'm like, oh man, I felt so bad for him. So what he explained to me, because I'm telling you, he's a master. I mean, even though I kind of alluded to a joke that maybe he wasn't quite the master that he thought he was, but he is the master. He is the master of doing this kind of a thing. He's an expert in this field of these type of dynamics and maneuvers and everything like that. But he said, Tito James, just before I came over to your house, I just did a firmware upgrade on my drone, and he explained something to me that I wasn't aware of until he explained this to me. And I'm sure most of your viewers who are into drones probably are aware, but I learned things all the time. And he said, whereas your DJI, when you lose control from your controller mechanism and you disconnect, your drone comes back, and it has smart enough.
Usually it comes back.
Well, mine is always. I'm lucky. Mine has always come back, and even from some really weird situations. But he said it's a kit that he built himself. And he said that the bad side of that is if you don't know the limitations of this drone right here, and if it's leaving and you lose control, it just keeps on going. It never comes back. It will
Well,
just
it's
keep
acro
going.
mode, right? In acro mode, it just goes like the same speed forever and ever until
Yeah, I guess.
Well, it's like the laws of physics. It stays in motion until affected by some other object,
So he says.
other force.
So he told me, he says, so what you have to do, and you know this limitation on there, the moment you lose control and it's gone, you have no way of controlling it. There
Just
is
throw your
still
hands in the
some
air?
kind of there's a kill. No, there's a kill. I guess that will over to a certain amount of distance, you can kill the motor, the power to it, and it will drop.
yeah.
It will drop, even though
Ken
you
did
can't
that.
see.
Ken Heron did that recently. He had a video on it where he accidentally did that flying, and he quick powered it back up, and the thing was free falling, and he saved it and brought it back.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
he said that's what he did. He said even though the drone was right there where he was, he had no control. And he says, once I lose control, he says the only way to recover the drone is to kill and know where I last heard it fall, or where I last saw it through my FPV. He said, then I go and look for my drone, and I've always been able to recover it from that one. So this one, where he killed it, was right above asphalt. Probably pretty high from the looks of the condition of the battery and the GoPro camera, and he wasn't able to recover from it. And
if he would have had GPS on it, he could have had it programmed to where it would have a return to home. Now, if you follow Old Man in a Drone, he makes these FPV drones, and he's got what's called an oh shit switch on his controller, so that
The OS switch.
The OS, yeah, the OS switch.
And then it's return to home.
Yeah.
It'll just go up a few hundred feet, and then it'll orient itself, and it'll automatically come back to its origin.
As long as nothing's in its way on its path back.
Yeah, that's true.
Like high tension power lines.
Yeah.
Chuck, did you see I was on ArtCo maybe 2 or 3 episodes back, and I had in the background, I had a couple of share screens for him, a video of the my DJI Phantom 4 striking. We have the high tension, the ones that feed the entire city.
The big ones, yeah.
The big ones. I was kind of doing FPV without FPV goggles. I had the back. I was watching it, and when you're trying to circle something, you don't know what's behind you. And I turned off all my sensors. On it because there's some restrictions. I can't get in these tight places and I was doing a promotional video for a friend of mine for a piece of property, and I hit some high tension wires. And I lost control and everything. But if you get a chance, I never even showed it on my channel. I showed it on Art's channel. I don't know. Maybe Art can tell you what episode that was, but it was good. And I captured the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it, Art?
Yeah, he was able to recover and fly it back.
Yeah.
Was that your birthday? Was that your birthday
damaged
episode
his
2 weeks
trucks.
ago? Sorry, I did it again. I stomped all over Art. That's so rude of me, the host. I should be banned.
We're taking your wrench away, mister.
I deserve it, too. Give me
I
some
say that
Chinese wrench instead of a Craftsman.
Chuck, I say that all the time too. That I don't know why Art keeps inviting me to the channel. Because I kind of ramble off. But I expect, because it's Sunday morning, I expect on a Sunday morning to open up my email and there's no invitation inside there. But he keeps doing it. I don't know why. I don't know why he tortures everybody.
maybe I'm a newer form of torture. I don't know. I'm a new smaller channel form of torture. But no, I was going to ask you guys about this. So you were talking about FPV and everything, and I'm wondering about. We've been all the rage is the DJI FPV drone. That's kind of like going to take somebody like James and me into FPV. Maybe it has GPS. It looks like it might have return to home. It has a gimbal.
Yeah, it's more like a hybrid. I think it's kind of a crossover from the camera drone to a FPV drone.
What do you guys think of that thing?
Well, I tell you what, I'm scheduled to go back to the U.S. This year. We weren't able to go back at all in 2020 for obvious reasons, travel ban restrictions mainly. But if we can get beyond that, I want to come back. And I've been holding off doing any upgrades, buying any new hardware. But I plan on coming back this next time with a lot of toys, because I want I want the toys. I want to do what you guys kind of do.
Mavic Air 2.
Yeah, not very subliminal Art, but yeah, that's a great drone. In fact, my buddy Keith, who's on here watching us, K-Spot, he just got one with a smart controller, and he's loving it. He is loving that thing.
But I will be
shopping.
shopping.
Mavic 2. Coming from a Mavic 2 also.
Yeah, I will be shopping. I've been very careful lately. as long as I'm not running into power lines. I'm trying to be real careful.
I gotta see that.
I
I
only
mean,
had-
I don't want to, but I wanna. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
The car
let's
crash.
get because it captured. It captured, and I'm not going to tell you the story because everybody who's probably in the chat has already heard the story
Yeah,
before.
yeah, that's okay.
And but for you, if you missed it, you need to watch. That was a good episode, and the good thing is the camera captured everything.
Nice.
Captured everything. Yeah, and I'm just glad, and I said that then. I've said that on multiple episodes that I've discussed DJI products with the group, the guests that are here, and Art, the host here. I am sold on DJI technology. I have had, I won't say a lot, I've had 3 major events that happened. 2 of the 3, the drone itself recovered to the point where I could actually fly it back home after a major event. And the reason the first one did not is because I did the kill switch thing that you were talking about, and I shouldn't have.
Oh, the sticks inboard, down and in?
Yeah, I shut it down. And I should not have done that because I did more damage by the free fall to the drone than had I just
the
allowed it to
coconut
continue the
tree.
struggle.
Just kind of spin and find its way down. Did you ever watch Chris Rollins? You ever watch Chris Rollins' channel?
Oh,
No.
yeah.
He
you gotta check
along-
his channel.
he does a lot of scientific experiments. He's just crazy, and he has a high frame rate camera, and he captures stuff blowing up and everything. But anyway, he did a video a long time ago where he intentionally took his Mavic, I think it was his Mavic 2 at the time, and he did that at altitude. He pulled the sticks in and shut it down, and then tried to start it up again the same way and save it. And he saved it. But it's like started it. He wanted to see if it was possible. He's crazy. That guy. I love his channel.
Yeah.
It's a shameless
Check out
plug.
his
I'm sorry.
Video on sodium.
Oh,
Fun with sodium.
there's a few of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, James,
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
I'm lost on sodium. That's a new term for me, other than
Well,
salt.
sodium is
Very
very
reactive.
reactive to water.
Yeah, it's
And
extremely.
you know, you could buy sodium on Amazon.
And he said that too. He's like he bought it.
Yeah.
Bought a big bag
Yeah.
of sodium on.
Yeah, he bought like a hot, like this 2-pound hockey puck,
Yeah.
from Amazon. And
It only takes a little
he
piece, just a
decided, "Hey,
little piece.
Let's throw it out in this pond and let's see what happens.
Oh my god.
That thing just shot up in the air, bounced back. And
It was
shot
epic.
up, and it set off a small fire on the.
They're ready to
on
go
the
across the
grass.
pond, across that other pond. They'd like to stamp it out.
Well, I never did really well in chemistry. Was that the things that you dropped when they made the volcanoes? You could build a little model and you drop something inside.
No,
That's that-
sodium was the thing where
and baking soda.
baking
Yeah.
soda.
No, this stuff is.
This is
explosive.
seriously reactive. Yeah, I remember my chemistry teacher had a beaker of water about smaller than my pint glass, and he put a little sliver in. It's like all flames up and everything. It's just, like a
Yep.
speck. And Chris took like chunks of the stuff and he throws it into this pond, and it just grenades. He has it all in like 1,200 frames a second with this really cool camera he bought.
Well, how about the one where he put it on a pineapple? And the moisture from the pineapple, it
Yep.
just sunk in and blew up.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of pineapple, did you? I showed you in the last couple episodes one of my pineapples coming in. Well, I don't know how far you followed the channel here, but do you remember the term the Michelle pineapple? Do you remember that? Do you remember me talking about that one? I got
Welcome to the pineapple chapter on ArtCo Drone Solutions. Hour number 3.
Yeah.
Go ahead, James.
Well, you say these key words that just set me off because if I don't talk about it now, they'll never come up in the conversation.
Squirrel.
James, you remind me of my dad so much. My dad was famous for telling stories at parties, going on and on and on.
Well, Chuck probably hasn't. I mean, I have like 800,000 videos on my channel. I don't know how many, but the first 300 or 400 had to do with the
Yeah.
build of the house right here. And I used to live on I used to live in a little apartment for the first year while we were building the house here. I lived in an apartment. It was $60 a month is what it cost me, 3,000 pesos. And I used to stop by this little Sari store every single morning. My whole theme of my day was I interfaced with all the people in my barangay, the children, the adults, the stores, and then I came to work. I came to work every single day. Well, one of the stores I always stopped by was a Sari store called Gabi's. It was Roy and Michelle. They're famous on my channel. Anybody who is a subscriber, they know Roy and Michelle from my channel. Well, Michelle gave me a gift, and I remember all the people. I try to remember all the people who were kind enough to give me gifts, whether it's subscribers or people in the local community. Well, Michelle gave me a pineapple one day, and it was a special pineapple, and it came from Tagaytay. And they're known for a certain variety of pineapple they're small, but they're extremely sweet and tasty. Well, when you can plant more. You can propagate pineapples from the top of
Just from the top, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you twist it off and they'll root. And I planted literally 3 years ago, over 3 years, 3.5 years ago, I planted that top from that one pineapple plant in my garden. I have lots of pineapples all over my yard. And that pineapple did nothing for 3 years. It sat there and did not. It just grew. It was a green, leafy thing, but it never. All my other pineapples, they've been making pineapples. I'm getting pineapples. That sat there forever. Well, finally, this week, I went out there a couple days ago, and I looked, and Michelle's pineapple. It's got, yeah. So the way you know, it'll start getting reddish pink in the center, and then you'll start seeing the fruit start to push its way up inside there. So I'll show that. I haven't shown anybody on my channel yet.
You should just take a picture of it, like have it set up a camera and just take a picture and do a time lapse of it growing.
Do a time lapse. That would be great.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be. That's a good idea. I think maybe I'll do something.
Do it.
I think I'm going to do it. But anyway,
what's credit for that.
I was waiting for that. That's why I paused.
You just pop into my head. It's like I can't help myself. What's that from The Girl Next Door? I think that was a quote.
But what's nice about pineapples is a pineapple, a lot of times when it's growing like that from the top of another pineapple, as it's growing, you get these little sucker shoots off the bottom, and it will make multiple. You can have one
like a spider plant. Like a spider plant.
Well, it's actually suckers that then they don't shoot out like on a spider plant that has little like what strawberry does, has the feeders. This is actually a sucker that's built right into it, and they'll make each one of those will have roots on there, and you can propagate, make more. So I hope, because that is the best variety that I've been able to taste in the Philippines, and I hope we can make many more off of that. Yeah, we'll see. Mm-hmm. We'll keep an eye on that. Time lapse, good idea.
Yeah, I think you should do it. It'd be cool.
And and then I think what I'll do is, if I get a sucker off of that, because that's called the Michelle pineapple. I think I'll call the one that I do a time lapse on the Chuck pineapple. I think that's what I'll do.
Oh, that's far too kind. Yeah. You could do a whole growing pineapples freaking thing.
I could.
It'd be pretty fun, like how to grow pineapples, and then the time lapse. It could be like just a couple-minute video. It'd be pretty cool. Maybe.
Yeah, I tried to follow some of these other people that do these things, and a lot of people are really successful taking a project that's a long-term project and just pushing it down into like one episode, maybe a 20 or 30 minute.
Yep.
I got burnt so bad on one of these projects. I invested so much time on a composting. It's just a composting video, and again, nobody on my channel knows, but Art gets all this free information from my channel that all his people get to see, and my people don't even get to see a lot of this cool stuff. But I like Art, and he's, if it'll promote his channel, it's fine. I love promoting people who have great content and are really nice people. So anyway, I did this one, and it lasted months. I'm going to tell you 6 months that I worked on it, because it takes, when you make compost, it will take 6 months to a year to get enough breakdown that it's good for your garden. And I did this, and I worked about 6 months. From the very beginning, I showed the people how I took a normal trash can. So it's just ideas that popped into my mind. I took a big plastic trash can. I took a hole cutter. I cut holes all in the side.
Perforated it. Yep.
I perforated it. so it could breathe just like you would do. And then I use my grass clippings from my yard, and I had a special recipe that I made that I put inside there with my eggs and
Plant scraps, eggs,
my coffee grinds, and
Nice.
all leafy
banana
products,
peels.
everything. Yeah. And I got up to about the 6-month point, and every single time I turn it over, what I do, because it's not like these fancy mechanisms that you can buy, that you turn this thing, the things that you can buy in the U.S. we all need on Amazon.com and all these landscaping places. We don't have that over here. So I went real simple, and it was working. It was coming out so good, and I would take it, and I would take it out, throw it in my wheelbarrow, and I would turn everything over once a week, and I had 6 months worth of documentation on this, and I was getting right to the point where it was so black and it was so rich, and I wanted that was my final episode, and I went back, and that was when my computer had to be rebuilt. I had to redo the operating system, and somehow all those files over 6 months, poof.
Oof.
Oh, I don't know where they went.
I have done a similar thing, reworking my computer where I wasn't smart enough to I thought I moved the files to a safe spot.
I thought.
There's
the keyword
exactly.
right there.
I thought. No. Yeah, I've lost a lot of good drone footage that way. Now I finally got smart. I have a 6 terabyte just external spinner, and once I'm done building the projects, they all go. The raw stuff all goes there.
Yeah, I quit going away from the external drives, and I started doing this cloud stuff. But I become really disorganized. Like, I have Dropbox, I have OneDrive.
That's why I have one big spinner, and then I get another big spinner, and they're on spinners.
But those go bad too.
But you don't have to have them juiced up all the time, so I don't think they go bad if they're not spinning. It's the bearings that let you down on them. Or am I wrong?
I don't know. Let me show you. Do I have it up here? I don't know if I have it up here. I'm going to walk.
Well, I just got a message from Keith. He just went out to the USS Texas today. He's going to have some information on what's going on with the battleship. So it sounds like some good news coming.
The backyard, Chuck.
All right, James.
Nice.
See what a beautiful day it is here. Beautiful day.
Yeah.
But it's windy.
I'll be as soon as the Rona lets me leave, I'm coming your way.
All right.
Look at that.
Maybe you and Art can come together on a trip, and you guys can.
I'll go flying.
For a little while. Anyway, this is one of my favorite drives, Transcend. I really like Transcend, and I've had many of these, and they come with the they say it's like military grade. You can drop these things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, I've never dropped any of them, and then it says made in Taiwan. Made in Taiwan. Not that there's anything wrong, because everything electronic is made either in China.
Made somewhere over there.
Somewhere in China, somewhere over here. Anyway, one of that was the way I used to back up everything. I had when I used to have my own web page, I backed up all my web page stuff and files for like YouTube and everything like that. But one of these, it died. It died. And,
that's solid state, right? That one's solid state. Excuse me.
Yes. No. This is solid state. Yeah.
So that's the problem with the solid state stuff. It's binary. It works, then it doesn't. Like I carry this thing around with me, which is like it's probably an M2 inside a box, but it's a G drive.
Yeah. I think this is solid state. I'm not really sure. I would have to look at the model and see. But anyway, I've got all of those. I used to work, one of my jobs was server management. I worked a little bit in computing and networking. And I did everything to try to recover, but it's a hardware failure, and it's hard to recover from a hardware failure sometimes. Mm-hmm. Now I could probably take that older, it's not this one actually works. This is what I use as a backup for certain things. But what I find, the best safety is cloud. Back it up to the cloud. And if you have a couple of cloud places, because of all the encryption that they do, if you're worried about security, the encryption, if you're worried about backs up, so places like Microsoft and Apple and Dropbox and all these different places. Right. There's backups. The farms that they have the the server farms that they have that store all your stuff. And I find that's pretty much the safest way to go is using those. And the only thing is they've gotten away from all this free stuff. They're starting to charge. They're getting smart. And they hook you. It's
it's the drug dealer tactics where they
Yeah,
get you in for free.
That's
Just
right.
try
that's
it
right.
for free.
Yeah.
And they gotcha. Yeah.
So I got my stuff kind of spread out over a lot of different places. But you have to have that, especially if you have a business, or even for YouTube. Even for YouTube, if you have all of the content that you use to edit and do your videos and
All your footage, yeah.
your music, and well, I don't know about I don't do my footage. I let Google take care of that. I started at the very beginning, and I will tell you, I started with these, and I think these are two terabytes. I think they're the ones that I started with, and 2 terabytes fills up. Boom!
Oh,
like
an
that these days.
overnight. Yeah,
When you
I know.
I'm not even talking 4K video, and when you're doing 1080p, because I remember there used to be a restriction when I first started with YouTube. You could only upload a certain size file. There was a limitation; it couldn't be above. Now I don't know what the limitation is because I know most of my episodes are probably around 8 gig. It's probably about 8 gig. 8 gig. But I know back in the day, you couldn't do an 8 gig video. They wouldn't let you do an 8 gig video.
Where do they put it all? Where do they store it all?
Well, we talked about that. And I think it was on Art's show last time or the time before. We were talking with Greg, I think. Greg from down in Australia. We started talking about the server farms and everything. Because my thing is like there can't be an infinite amount of space because and I think Greg took the opposing view. It's like, oh yeah, it's like they just keep making more and more space, bigger server farms. But there's got to be a limitation at some point, and you got to think because it's like syndication of all these the Lost in Space videos and stuff from way back when. It's like. There's got to be a point where they got to say, "Oh, we got to get rid of this old stuff to make
somewhere."
Room for
you got to drop off the old and make room for the new at some point.
Like your CCTV, you got your little SD card inside.
Right,
there,
just like that.
It'll overwrite. It'll overwrite.
Right.
It'll take all its files and overwrite them because you don't need them anymore and stuff like. But I don't know with technology. I hope they don't run out because for me, I have no archives. Zero archives anymore. Zero archives of any of my videos because I have, like I said, around 1,000 videos. I can't fit though. I can't, and each video is 8 gigs. I can't fit those on. I mean, it doesn't take much of a mathematician to figure that 2 terabytes is going to run out very, very soon with file sizes like that. So, but I rely on those cloud services to save all of that. Oh yeah, okay, I see.
I know. Art's looking at his.
Yeah. And I actually, you know what? I have so many things to do, but I love spending time with Art and his guests like you, Chuck.
Oh, thank you.
I really enjoy. This is kind of like, I don't know. This is crazy or not. It's like the highlight of my Sunday mornings is being able to spend some time with friends like you guys because all week long I deal with my projects and stuff like that. And I don't really get out to other than communicating to everybody in the emails that they send me on my blog. I don't do live streaming like this, and this is actually a fun media.
Isn't it though? It's pretty cool. It's addictive.
Really
Talk about addictive stuff. This is
So you guys are my contact with real people in the live format. If you want to say it during this pandemic, because Ness and I are really tight about not going out and exposing ourselves to. We try to stay away from shopping malls. We order all our food. It gets delivered to us here online, stuff like that. So we are during right now. It'll get better one day, and then we'll be able to go back to our social interaction with real people. This is the closest thing that I have. Is that sad? I don't know. Maybe.
No, I don't know. It's actually an opportunity. I consider it an opportunity for me as a really itty bitty teeny tiny YouTube channel because I can.
Yeah.
Like I just did my very first vlog. I just premiered it this morning. Well, yesterday morning for you, but I did vlog number 1.
Oh.
First ever. Everybody go over to my channel.
What's your channel name? What's the channel name?
Covaction Dronography.
Oh, it says right there, right next to you, right in your name. Okay.
I try to advertise, but it's not working all that great. But
And what's your theme? What's your theme on you? Is it drones or is it something different?
it's mostly aerial stuff, yeah, scenic stuff from travel and such. But I've been trying to find a niche because I'm not
Have
getting
fun.
the growth I want. So I mean, I've learned getting better at flying and capturing cinematic stuff with the DJI stuff, like the Mavic 2s. I have 3 Mavic 2s that I fly. So I've been using those.
This is where you start, Chuck. This is where, and it's networking.
Yep.
Networking is really important.
Art's a great dude for having me on, and Art, thanks again,
It's-
man. I mean, it's like
Well, thanks for coming, Chuck and James.
Same for me.
You gotta start from somewhere. So, April will be 3 years I've been doing this. This is show 102, but if you count
102,
my other
yeah.
live shows, it's probably up to 120 or more than that.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you guys for coming to the show and making this a nice marathon show. I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming. Keith,
redundancy, man. Sorry, it's all common.
and Chuck, thanks for bringing your crew, the K-Spot, and all your friends for coming here, and hopefully they'll be
Regulars
to the show.
I hope so. Well, there's a whole bunch of dudes over from Droning On. Ash at Droning On over in Sweden.
Yep.
He actually got us all together. So Keith and I met via Droning On.
Oh,
And now we collaborate. Now we're just really good friends. So he and I talk. We're 12 hours apart. So it's like we talk about connecting on the flip. So like about now when I get off with this, I'll call up Keith and we'll video chat for a while, and then it's like that's what's cool, James. It's like we've been in COVID, and it's helping my channel grow, obviously, because it's an opportunity. But now I'm meeting all these really great people across the pond, like you and Keith and this other guy Epson, who's on he's on Coast to Coast Drones too. He's from Norway, and just it's unbelievable how cool it is.
Well,
to meet people everywhere.
I like your attitude, Chuck, and this. And if you have, I like people who put a positive spin on things or have a good outlook. There's too many people that are looking at negative things, and I like when people find for something as bad as a pandemic, what is the good that came out of it? And this is one thing that's good.
This is good. Well, thank you, because it's like I was watching a motivational guy when I was on my treadmill hiking. I can't remember the coach's name. He's in California somewhere, but he said it takes a lot more energy to be this is going to sound weird, to be positive than it does to be negative or neutral. So he said you should strive for neutrality. Just strive to be neutral, and then positivity will happen.
That's why people buy books on motivation rather than books on how to suck at everything.
Yeah, but it just I used to be more cautiously optimistic, but I've been spinning that now. I'm trying to just find the good. 2020 was a great year to really grow that. It's like, okay, this kind of stinks. What?
Well, when you think about it, if you wanted to go to a bar with some friends, or if you wanted to invite some people over to your house, what are you really looking for? Are you looking for an interaction where everybody has energy and you have good things to contribute back, and it motivates you to do something, or do you want to hear somebody saying,
wow, might as well go home and sleep.
Poor me. And
right.
So, and that's what we try to do. That's what we try to do on our channel, and I think we're succeeding because all the people that we have that visits our channel and Art's channel, it's all people. You got to look at the reviews, the comments that people make inside there, and they're all supportive, and that's what I believe makes a good channel. And those are the channels that I want to go to. That's the one. So, 2020 has been good for.
Thumbs up and 3 thumbs down. Oh well.
But don't ever worry about the thumbs down. Don't ever worry. Unless when I say don't worry about the thumbs down, if the thumbs down start exceeding your thumbs up,
yeah.
No, those aren't like those aren't like like my dad used to always talk about the attaboy and the old crap system where like he remember when I was a kid, he's like, I always wanted a Corvette, and I was like, well, son, I'll buy you a Corvette, but you need 100,000 attaboys. And I was like, oh, that's no problem. And he's like, yeah, well, one crap is negative 100,000 attaboys, so it's like this is like, you get like a couple of, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I got the vet on my own, though. The heck with him.
But you don't have to look at that. And I learned this a long time ago, and it doesn't bother me because we know there are people out there that they don't like to see other people happy, and that's often because they don't have a happy life, and I kind of feel sorry for people who don't. I hope there is something in what we talk about or what we display. I'm hoping it will change people's attitudes to make them I don't care if they give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I just hope it changes their attitude and they become more nice people. Because we need more nice people in this world. We really do.
Yes, we do. We can outnumber them. Then it's not such a big deal.
So don't worry about those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It means nothing, and they know who they are.
That's right.
And they know that they need to do something to make their lives better, and I hope they get a wake up call, and so those never bother me.
Well, thank you for coming in. It was a blast tonight. I had a really good time, even though I did almost an hour by myself. Thanks for coming in and kind of saving me a little bit.
I'm sorry I dropped in late, and then I was
That's okay.
I was like seriously getting I took the nap, so I was getting the sleepy dust out of my eyes. I'm like, can I go live yet? Can I go live? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm all alone with Art. What am I gonna say? What am I gonna say?
Well, Art makes it easy. I tell you, when you come on his show here, he makes it really easy, and things like what did I say when I came on today? I said I have nothing. I had nothing to share. I had not prepared in my mind anything, but then I expect the next time I come on, if I get invited again, he's going to put one of those little timer things on, like he does when he opens his videos.
Yes, a little sand timer even. Just,
it's like when you're in a debate and you have 30 seconds.
And he's going to mute you. You can just like.
There we go. All right, well, I'll just do something.
Don't give him any ideas.
Okay, that's enough of James. We can't hear James. That's good.
It worked.
He's already killing me with my Alexa device.
It's a bad idea.
He's killing me with my Alexa devices right here. Did he tell you? We'll talk about that in a So he's
Alexa, play the Beatles.
I got my headset on.
Oh crap! You did.
Last time I didn't.
I tried.
But thanks, Art. Thanks for. I tell you what. Yeah, I feel energized today, and I've laughed more than I have in a long time. So I had a good time. Thanks for inviting me on.
James, pleasure meeting you, sir. I gotta check out your channel. I'm guilty. I can't even find it. I was kind of trying to stealthily look for it.
It's My PI Dream.
Yeah, that's just an abbreviation. PI Dream. That's it. My PI Dream.
I'm going there right after this.
Okay.
I'm going there now. But...
And I'll check out your first episode there, Chuck.
Oh, thanks. Tell me what you think, because it's like Keith helped me edit. Sorry, Art. We ran way over. But thank you again, sir.
Good night, everybody.
All right, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye. All right, Chuck. Thanks for coming in, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, Art. Talk to you later, man. Have a good day. Evening.
All right.
Night.
Bye. All right. Hey, thanks, everybody in the chat. Thanks for coming in. The K-Spot, thank you very much. Robbie, good to see you. Steve Mack. And please subscribe. I have a little icon right down here in the right-hand corner. You could subscribe right there by clicking on that icon. Well, everybody have a great evening, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.